Welcome, everybody, to the One Up Years podcast, Day After Christmas Continuation Part 2 special. This is Garnet Lee.
Wait, I thought this was still part 1.
This is Part 2.
We're doing 2 4-minute warnings in one podcast?
Yes, we're doing 2 4-minute warnings in one podcast.
That's going to blow people's minds.
I know. It's mind-boggling. This is the 2008.
And this is the day after Christmas.
This is the day after Christmas.
How many questions is 2 4-minute warnings?
It's 2 4-minute warnings worth. I don't know. It's some fucking questions. I don't know. Why are you asking me so many questions?
Well, Merry Christmas, kids. I hope you got what you wanted.
I hope everybody got what they wanted. Yeah. All right. So we're going to launch right into this. And what's going to happen here is we still have the crew gathered around here. So pairs are going to, like, Shane and I are going to sit here and do it. And then pairs, like right now, we have Brad.
Hey, hi.
Giant
hello.
Bomb with us.
Hi.
The voice.
Yep.
And Christian's back. And then everyone's going to do 2.
Christian also has a voice.
No, Brad is the voice because he's got the.
Oh, okay.
He's got the voice.
So I'm told.
Ladies love Brad Shoemaker.
Oh, yeah.
And then before the pair leaves, the last thing they'll do is they'll give us their 2008 Game of the Year.
Sounds good.
All right, so starting with this one from Ravasalat. He says, do you think Activision will wake up and cut down the amount of games per franchise per year, or are we just going to have to deal with it and play the cards we're dealt?
Well, they're so excited about annualizing all their franchises and like putting 4 or 5 Guitar Heroes out in a year. But this year, Guitar Hero sales are down.
They're not as down as people were expecting. Here's the problem. As soon as Tony Hawk became so fucked up, Guitar Hero picked up the slack. So they never learned their fucking lesson. And they're not going to learn it for a while, I think.
Yeah, they're not going to do that until they have to. And right now, they're more than making their bottom line.
Like, how many Guitar Hero SKUs do you think the market can hold in a year? I don't think they can do 5 or 6, which is what they want to do, I think, next year, right?
Well, it's sort of a different question than annualizing
Okay,
sequels.
but like, it's almost a problem because like, annualizing Call of Duties, annualizing Tony Hawk's, that's one problem. But like 5, 6 Tony Hawks.
Guitar Hero, they're milking it. And something I really realize, any of the bands that have dedicated Guitar Hero games, does anyone under like 35 like these bands anymore? Like Metallica,
Aerosmith.
AC/DC, Aerosmith. Like seriously, this whole like corporate marketing schlockiness of Activision makes it's so.
Well, and the other scary thing is we've heard Activision say they're not interested in franchises that can't be exploited annually. And that's a quote from their CEO.
Yeah.
Like when you start using the verb exploit.
And across all platforms. Also, not just annually. They want them across all platforms and annually. So
the reason I rolled this question into the 2008 section was because I knew we talked about 2009 some, but I wanted to know what you guys thought was the impact this year in 2008 of them going back and hitting Guitar Hero again, hitting Call of Duty again.
This year,
because it was successful.
I'll
for
say
them.
this year Guitar Hero, it was a big upgrade. It was a Rock Band competitor. It made sense. And Call of Duty, even though they farmed it out to the B team, it was pretty well received. It's selling really well.
Well, here's the thing, right? It's sold faster than Modern Warfare, but it remains to be seen if it's going to sell as long, but Modern Warfare was still selling for not. It
and still one of the most
still a top Xbox Live game.
Right, one of the most played games on Xbox Live. So are they kind of like cannibalizing their own possible sales by putting out one too soon?
Well, there were definitely people who conjectured that Call of Duty was actually going to be its own worst enemy by cutting into what could have been another great holiday season for Call of Duty 4.
Yeah. And like, personally, I like it when I want a sequel. Like 2 years seems to be 2 or 3 years for me is enough time for me to really build up the anticipation for a sequel. Where if I know in 11 months there'll be a new one, sometimes I'll skip the game and wait for the next one.
We were talking about this actually.
Sales figures notwithstanding, nobody has ever done a better job than Activision at souring me on franchises that I used to really like.
What, like Tony Hawk, or what are you talking about?
Namely, probably Guitar Hero and to a lesser extent Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Yeah, like I love the hell out of those, and I'm loving them less now because it's just oversaturation.
Well, and the problem is once they have a successful title, they think, okay, we can make this much money every year, and when they don't make that money, then they start thinking it's a failure. They start laying people off.
Well, we don't think about this either.
games.
They do a Spider-Man game every year too. I mean, we kind of were not thinking about that. But they do.
Web of Shadows didn't make much of an impact.
The repetition factor definitely played into Guitar Hero for me this year, and at least I feel like that's kind of what bringing me down because I thought
you thought you were going to love it.
I thought I was really going to love it, and I do enjoy the guitar, and I do enjoy the game still, but it's nowhere near like it used to be for me. And Rock Band, and Rock Band's not doing it like substantially better for me either. I think that like the whole thing is we're seeing the industry, especially during 2008, really play to that. What's going to make us strong? What can we go back to and milk again? And it does really, really run them down.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think annualization is a bad concept. I don't think it's what the game industry needs.
Look what it did for Need for Speed. Oh, my God.
Need for Speed is on the verge of collapse.
That's the first intelligent thing you've said yet.
That means it's over.
Turl has spoken.
Next question.
That is awesome.
Yeah, instead of the regular Mario buzzer, we have Turl from Battlefield Earth here today. Special guest appearance from him.
All right, the next one comes from Operative 9. Says, you guys have played a lot of games this year. If you had to pick one game that didn't get the press or the love from the gaming populace that it deserved, which game would that be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I know, it is a good one. Anyone?
There's actually
There's a lot.
I'm going to return to Yakuza 2, which, nice stand. But you guys did a great job with it, actually.
I mean,
you guys
we pimped it, but it got overshadowed. It had really poor distribution.
That's a PS2 game. People don't want to play them anymore.
But people have told me it's actually hard to find at retail, and that's trouble. I mean, it's a good game, and people can't find it, so that sucks.
That's definitely a problem. You know what? Amongst us, I mean, I don't know exactly what Operative 9 was looking for. Amongst us, we all talked about it. We all loved it. And I'm playing the hell out of it right now. Valkyria Chronicles is fantastic, and the fact that it only sold 33,000 copies is criminal.
Yeah, if you have a PS3 and you like RPGs, it is the single best RPG on PS3.
And it's a mix of real time and strategy for people who aren't sure they're into a Final Fantasy Tactics type game. I think there's more there for. It's got a little bit of a broader stroke of appeal. I think for a wider audience than probably is giving it a second look, and it's very mature not in the M-rated blood and guts sense, but in the adult storytelling sense. It's
absolutely.
A lot.
So I just got through the prologue in that game this afternoon. So would you characterize it as more of an RPG than a tactical strategy game? Because it seemed way more about the combat to me.
It's a strategy RPG. But I mean, there's a significant number of. In Chapter 3. There's a significant number of panels in each chapter that are just story exposition, and the story exposition works well. And I'm really impressed by how well it's produced, how it's put together. But then you talk about the strategy part. I think the one thing that's overlooked about this also is that it's actually very playable. For a game that has a fairly complex strategy game system to it, it's very pick up and playable because it uses a motion control, a way of moving yourself about that you're accustomed to from shooters. It's I know how to do this. I know how to walk a character around.
Yeah, even though the movement is governed by an action meter or whatever, I was surprised how kind of accessible it was just by the fact that it was one-to-one control on a stick to the walking. So
that's my
Well, this same question was asked to me on one of FM, and I said Cold Step Saga for Xbox 360.
I actually want to roust people back into that. We never really got that together.
And it's cheap now. You can get it for $20-25
bucks.
Great game. The World Ends With You. It sold pretty well, but
that's a good one.
I'd say the lion's share of Japanese RPG fans haven't played this game, and it's an original IP from Square, from Tetsuya Nomura. It's fantastic. Really good.
That's
game.
A good call. That's a really good call.
And there's a lot of other games like this. I mean, because everyone kind of has short-sighted memory. They remember the games coming out in fourth quarter.
Right.
Look back to first quarter. Look back to second quarter. There are good games that you didn't play.
And a lot of them are cheap now, which is great. You don't have to spend $50 on something that's brand new $60. You can have a great time with a discounted game that's really, really good, especially in these tough economic times.
Exactly.
Brad, what do you got?
I think I'm going to have to cop out. I think I must have played nothing but blockbuster Jerry Bruckheimer-esque top AAA games this year, because you know what, there are games I can think of that I wish people had liked more, but I can't think of one that I played that didn't get enough attention.
So I know one that I've just seen the scratchings, the surface of, that I'm really looking forward to playing over the holiday, that also hasn't gotten much publicity outside PC circles, and that's Sacred 2.
I've never even heard of that game.
Really?
I've heard the name, but what is it? I mean,
it's it's a 3D Diablo clone sort of game in a fantasy setting, but so far the one I've seen, from booting it up and messing around with character selection and getting started into it, the character art is really cool. The sense of place is nice. The engine's put together very well. The combat is very Diablo-esque.
I got to see it around GDC time, so quite a while ago now. But some of the stuff they're doing with co-op sounded really good. Your game is persistent, so you bring your friend into it, and you can sort of, progress, and then it seems like it sounds good. They're going to
better than Hellgate.
It's coming to consoles next year too.
Yeah, it's coming to PC, especially a PS3 build. They were really happy about the way they were able to use the shader engines.
Before you move on, Jeff was mouthing Viva Pinata at me, so I'm going to go with that. Trouble.
That was a big flop.
Trouble in Paradise. What do you flop in terms of sales?
Yeah,
are you serious? What are the numbers?
Didn't even chart.
Dude,
they had so much trouble. You included it in your NPD thing that you wrote about. They had so much trouble with their casual games connecting. Lips didn't connect. Banjo-Kazooie didn't connect.
You're in the movies.
Seen It didn't connect. The Viva Pinata didn't connect.
Too bad.
Well, dude, casual is not their audience. I mean, those are not the people who own the hardware. So,
but those are good games. I mean, I've had a lot of people.
It's too early for Turl.
Turl didn't get to complete his sentence, so hold on.
Shh. He wouldn't last one day in the academy.
anything.
It wouldn't last one day.
All right, so that's 2 Qs.
All right, so that's
I
2 Qs.
You guys got to say what your game of the fucking year is for 2008.
This is so tough. I didn't.
On the spot.
Yeah, it's okay. People understand and on the spot, kind of just lay it out there. What's your gut reaction?
I'm gonna say Deer in Headlights.
Deer in Headlights.
That's not a game.
Well, Brad said he had his, so let Brad throw his out there,
Okay.
and then you can get a minute to think about it. Throw it out there. And it is gut reaction.
Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Whoa! Oh my fucking God.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Dude, I am not kidding at all.
Wow.
I'm 100% sincere. This is earnest.
That is a stunner.
This is a complete lack of irony.
Hey, Vern, this is earnest.
Dude, I you know what? I surprised myself a little bit, but I had to step back and think, all right, what did I have the most legitimate fun playing?
Wow.
Are you a fan of
And that was
Banjo 1 and 2?
I've never played a Banjo game in my life
That's
before.
probably why.
Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Wow.
I didn't come to it looking for like a Mario 64 clone. But I don't know. Like, just I really connected with all the vehicle creation stuff.
I like the art. I thought the aesthetic was cool, actually.
The art. I mean, it's a beautiful looking game.
All right, Jose, you can play secretary. Write the first one up there. Like, we've got a whiteboard here.
Dude,
we're going to keep track of him. So,
you know how happy I am that game is at the top of your list on this whiteboard.
And Christian, now that he said that, you could say fucking anything crazy.
I know,
game
come on. You can pretty much pull out whatever the hell you want.
I'm just gonna give it to Yakuza 2.
Wow.
No good reason.
Whoa.
Wow.
Who would have expected that
These
the
are some
first 2008 Game of the Year awards or you know,
Which I played for an hour.
Talk about left field.
I haven't played Gears yet. I don't think
You loved Gears 1.
I like Gears 1 a lot.
Wow. All right. So, do you guys want to take next? Jeff and Jose? You take next? All right.
Quick swap out.
Thank
here.
you, Christian. You have to run, I understand.
Yes,
so,
I have to attend a birthday party.
Well, thank you very much for coming this evening. It's
thank
always
you
good
as
to see you. Hopefully see you before the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers for that.
If you could tell the birthday party, I'll be fashionably late.
All right. And joining us now is Jose Sanchez.
Hello.
You've been thinking about your Game of the Year, right?
No.
Okay,
No.
good. You
But
have,
You have 2 questions to consider.
you have 2 questions to consider, and Jeff Gersman on the other mic.
Hello.
Here, let me fix your mic cable.
Oh. Well, thank you, God.
Let me
I'll try not to spill drink
let me
like I did last
fix
week.
your mic cable.
Yeah, last week.
Last week when I
in a
spilled
row.
a drink.
I feel like a norm.
My pants are still wet from last week.
Remember last week?
Good times, guys.
Halcyon days.
Glad to be back. Good to see you guys again.
All right, you guys
look good.
get a broad brushstroke question to begin with. This one comes from Tamtang.
Tam.
Tam-Tang. Good old Tam-Tang.
Not his real name.
Tamtang.
Maybe it is his real name.
Yeah, maybe.
You just made fun of him.
What happened to
Sorry.
2008
Well,
being the year of the PS3?
The Xbox 360.
Oh, come on. Now,
Wait, was that the whole question?
That's the whole question.
Wait, what,
Really?
what is it? Could you repeat that?
What happened to 2008 being the year of the PS3?
Gears of War 2. Coltrane, baby. Woo!
I would say that it was a better year for the PS3. Sales of the hardware were up 60% for the year
Down 70% in November.
in November due to the economic collapse of the entire world. But a lot of the games we really thought were going to come out this year are now next year games.
Which ones do you think then? Which one specifically of the games that didn't come
Well,
out? are you
no one
pointing
really
to there? Come on.
expected Final Fantasy or God of War, but it would have been great to have them this year. And,
Yeah, well, they definitely could have used the God
Would
of
have
War.
helped PlayStation a lot.
right, and even though they had a good lineup, well, so did Nintendo and so did Microsoft.
Right.
So the battle is continuing, and it's there's no game changer. There's no huge thing that made everybody realize I need to run out and spend $400 or $500 on this console.
I
That
totally
doesn't
agree
have
with you on that.
backwards
Blu-ray players got
compatibility.
inexpensive, so
Yeah.
it's no longer this good cheap
Right.
Blu-ray
If-
player.
If you're like
so-
the videophile, you might
Yeah.
go buy the $129 Blu-ray player. But really, I think the economic downturn is seriously hurting it because it's still a
Exactly.
prohibitively
I mean,
priced product.
The
It
games
really
that came
is.
out aren't helping either. I mean,
No, I think they
Resistance
did.
2 didn't hit like
Well,
it needed to.
Resistance 2 didn't, but I think Little Big Planet, MotorStorm, Metal Gear Solid 4, they
Oh, yeah,
all,
Metal Gear's huge,
They all
but-
delivered, but 3 good games isn't enough for the average Joe to spend $400.
And Little Big Planet suffered because it didn't get the great word of mouth that it should have because of online server trouble, the Muslim thing,
right? Yeah, its
yeah.
launch was
and
marred.
the
for sure.
moderation issues. Every step of the way, this game that should have been the big uniting moment, everyone oh yes, finally something unique
Right,
and awesome,
Right. And
it
also-
didn't do what
also,
it needed to do.
the big E3 announcement that Final Fantasy 13 is also coming to 360. That a lot of the hardcore
Right.
RPG fans who are saving up
true.
their pennies
They're like,
realize,
oh,
hey,
well, I don't need
can
to-
spend $200 and get this console to also play that system.
What impact do you think it had that Metal Gear Solid 4 came out when it did, as opposed to what if Metal Gear Solid 4 were the holiday big
No.
PS3 exclusive.
I think Metal Gear, the time it came out, was the perfect time because
Okay.
there wasn't too many big games at the time, and when it came out, it was like
It did own-
it
it
sold
owned
a
the
few
place.
PlayStations.
Right,
It
yeah.
did,
It,
you know?
it sold a lot of consoles. It did
If it,
well.
if it would have came out during the holiday season, it would have just been lost in the thunder of everything else that came out.
I'm not sure that game would get lost.
I don't
in
think
the
it'd get
thunder.
lost, but it probably would suffer a little bit.
It would have suffered.
I mean,
Exactly.
I would posit the other side of that, which is that right now, PS3 needs something in this holiday window that is its hammer to drop. Like,
I mean,
Microsoft has Gears, and Gears drops the fucking hammer, and it's like
But,
1.56
okay,
million sold.
You know, I still think it's a fallacy that there's like one single thing that is going to suddenly make millions of people run out and spend money for
Oh,
this
I agree.
console.
I agree that
that's
it's not
not
just
what's
one-
going to happen.
I agree there's not just
at
one
this
thing.
point, it is apparent that Wii has won, and the 360 and PS3 are going to slap fight for the next 4 or 5 years.
But the Wii has
But
won.
even that slap fight seems like it's just about over. It's like, how many more this is the year of the PlayStation 3s can
Well,
we have
but
until people are like, we're going to put out another console?
And what sucks, what sucks the most is that Wii has won in the console. Like, everybody's buying Wii consoles. What's the Wii game everyone's buying?
We play.
Wii Sports.
That's a great question. But I
well,
will
that's
say-
a whole other question. I mean, I don't think we won. I think we didn't win. What we did was it carved itself out a whole new fucking market.
Exactly.
It said, you know what? Screw you guys. Screw you guys.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
But as much as people don't want to hear, like, wait for 09. 09 does look to be
Wait till Space World.
a better year for PS3 with like Trico, Final Fantasy 13, Yakuza 3, Uncharted 2.
But that's what everyone was saying
Killzone,
last year. Like, wait till
Killzone,
Metal
yeah.
Gear and Little Big Planet.
but I think right now, I just named like 5 games that are exclusive to PS3 in 2009 that
Yeah.
are all really good.
Yeah.
And if you could name 5 Wii games or 5 360 games of the same caliber, it's not quite as easy.
Super Mario Universe.
I wish.
Name 5 Wii games. Any year. I don't care. Go.
Exactly.
Wii Orchestra.
We play Pikmin.
Yeah.
I'm all about we play Pikmin.
Yeah, I liked it the first time when I played it 5 years ago.
You didn't.
Yeah.
You did not play it with Wii controls 5 years ago.
I didn't,
but
didn't
I
want to
already-
play it with Wii controls
No,
5 years ago.
You were dying to. You just didn't know.
I didn't know it yet.
If
It's
you
true.
could go back in
It's true.
time, yourself would have known.
I know Jeff can't wait for Yakuza 3.
I'm excited for Yakuza.
Yeah.
I actually am
That'll be
thrilled
big.
for Yakuza.
I saw it
3.
at TGS. Look,
I am thrilled
Look
for
good.
Yakuza
Yeah, I mean,
3.
I think 09 is going to be a great year for both 360 and PS3. Who knows? I mean, even though it's number 1, like, where are the games still?
I mean,
Oh,
like
come
I
on.
I was interviewed by like a wedding magazine asking me about like top Wii games for the holidays. That is where the Wii is at.
I hear
talking about.
That's why I was saying, dude, carved out a whole.
This is a video
space.
game podcast. What are we doing?
Have you seen the preview for Doily Designer 2009? It's fantastic.
That's my game of the
I
year.
can't wait.
Incidentally, rolling into
Yeah,
that.
right now, saying it.
That's-
putting it on the line.
That's right.
Doily creator.
You don't need to cook any more Kung Pao chicken. You're good.
I'm good. I learned that. I'm
got it.
I'm set.
Seriously,
Got it
as I
down.
said last week, I'm totally over her and her stupid commercial. Fuck you, Smelly Cat, whatever your name is. I don't even remember her name. I hate her. Turl, what do you have to say about that? Wait, that wasn't this. Hold on. That's better. All right,
Wow.
moving on.
All right. Now then, this one comes from Carp Boy. Carp Boy.
The Carp
The
Boy?
Carp Boy.
My best friend from high school.
Word.
I love that guy. Carpy.
What game release from this holiday season do you wish had been pushed back a few months to give it a little more polish and to make it harder? Your answers cannot be Killzone 2 or Resistance 2.
Well, Killzone 2
come out.
was pushed back,
Good job, guys.
and Resistance 2 is off.
Look, he's a fish, okay? He was underwater last month.
All right.
That's a pretty good question, actually. There's a Peanut Gallery Screaming Mercenaries
Well, I-
2.
yeah, I-
But wasn't that game already pushed back like a year and a
Yeah,
half?
I would say.
I think-
at some
I would
point
say
they- yeah.
pushed
Yeah.
back too many times.
I think Mercs 2 and Brothers in Arms are off limits because they were pushed back like a year.
True.
Brothers in Arms was good.
Brothers in Arms was good. You know what? That goes back to the other question. That's actually one of my games I think that didn't get the attention.
I
it
think
deserved.
you're flopping because you didn't like it when you played it.
I did like
No,
it.
you didn't.
You didn't. I remember hearing the
You didn't
podcast.
like it.
You were
Fuck
totally
you.
hating on it. You lying son of a
Can I
bitch.
say home?
Eat a
No.
dick.
I can't say home.
Again, video game podcast.
Am I allowed to say home?
Can't say home. Not a game.
No.
They should have delayed home longer.
Home's not a game. It's real
Like, let's
life,
charge
son.
people 99 cents for a table. They'll love it.
Can I
Like,
say-
I got my Puka hat off
wait,
the
wait.
Japanese store, though.
I got a good one. Animal Crossing City Folk. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, they could have pushed it back to make it new.
Yeah, like
Would've been nice.
how about not making me buy the same goddamn game you've released
Yeah.
on N64, DS, and game.
But now you can have really epic
hate is strong
conversations
with
with,
this
people
one.
in their own living rooms.
There's more games. Let's start thinking. There's
Yeah.
more.
Okay.
There's more.
If they pushed back Mirror's Edge, they could have made it third person.
Could have.
If they had pushed back Mirror's Edge, they could have made it flow and ebb. I mean, we've had that argument, and people have listened to this. I think the Mirror's Edge could have benefited from some more time. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure whoever played GTA 4 PC would say that shit wasn't ready.
Obviously,
right.
They could have pushed back Need for Speed until they fixed the frame rate.
Oh
Yeah,
my!
Need for Speed was a mess.
Desperately needed to be pushed.
They could have added
They could have pushed
a game to the
oblivion.
drive.
How about Gran Turismo 5 Prologue? How about that one?
Need for Speed. Before you leave that, I think Need for Speed is classic example of a game that had a release, had a calendar on the wall, and it was like, here is when we ship the build.
And here
what
is
you
where
can.
we fail.
Triage
Awesome.
from day one. Go.
Day 2.
Yeah, SOCOM obviously could have benefited. I mean, as we talked about, it needed to be allowed to be finished cooking.
What else were there? Was other first party Sony stuff that had the launch window problems, like Little Big Planet. I guess that got inadvertently pushed back a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that Little Big Planet's problem was that the music slipped through. I don't think it was a release timing problem.
Well, but
that
the
hurts.
servers weren't ready also.
Yeah, the servers weren't ready.
That seems to be kind of MO for everything. Like, servers never work for anything. It's very upsetting.
True story.
All right, I think that's it. We covered that one.
But let me summon Turl.
Drop the hammer.
Wait, Turl?
I'm a cycle of my word.
All right, so gentlemen, before you trade out for the next two victims, game of the year for 2008. Just gut feeling. I mean, it's a podcast. You can say I was drunk.
I would have to go with the game I put the most hours into
Which
this
would be?
holiday season, Fallout 3.
That's good. Yeah.
It was, and I can't wait for the DLC, which sounds to be epic for $10.
Okay, do you think Cyborg Palin in the DLC? I'm putting it out there.
That's why they're going to Alaska.
If I could happen to see Cyborg Palin where she can see Russia from her porch with her sniper vision,
Golly gee.
I can't wait to play the game, Garnet.
That's a pretty good Palin.
I know, it's crazy because it's Russia on my porch. Garnet.
Wow. If they need a voice actor for Cyborg Palin.
It's true that we did work on the making of Fallout 3. So if you guys are listening, Bethesda,
If only Jose was half as hot as she is.
Hey, I'm twice as hot, Garnet. Come on,
The youth
be
makes up
serious.
for it.
Stop.
Right? It's a
Jesus
Be
Christ.
serious.
I'm getting
Obama
hot.
for president.
I'm getting
Obama.
semi over here.
Okay. I'm waiting for Jeff to bust out his Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe.
That is up there. That is up there. If we were doing top 10 lists, it's on the list. If the criteria was just a game I put the most hours into, it'd totally be Burnout Paradise. But
Which I love because
Yeah.
it's January. They ain't winning shit.
oh yeah, well best driving, right? What else came out? Grand Theft Auto 4. I hate to be like the obvious guy after the two
But come
totally
on,
left
that
field
game's
picks, but that game is bad fucking
horrible.
ass.
Dude, I totally.
Vinny, since you're over there, can you add to our game of the year list? So we have
The Fallout 3.
Fallout
GTA.
3, and GTA 4.
All right, Jeff Gerstmann, I got to say, I played about 3-4 hours GTA 4, and I want to get back to it because I really had a good time, but then I read on NeoGAF that it's terrible.
Oh well, okay, well shit.
Well,
Sorry,
it must
I actually.
So
I wasn't reading it that
obviously,
way.
you got some sort of money hat.
It's true. It's true. No, whatever. Like that game.
It's true.
It's true. After,
So what do
all
you
this
say?
time,
What do you say to
finally.
all the haters who say that game is like repetitive missions and badly told story and yada yada yada?
They're wrong.
Okay.
I say that
Tell
they're
them to
fucking wrong.
suck it.
Like
Tell them
basically,
to
yeah.
suck it all.
Like that was a
It's
game. Like
amazing.
there were emotional moments. Everyone's always talking about trying to make their big emotional impact game. Like there were characters in that game. Things happened to them that you cared about. There were a couple
Yeah.
points where I just stopped playing. I was like, oh man, I can't believe.
I gotta say, I was impressed that Rockstar North, instead of just like drawing from things that are already created, making a story based around cultural touchstones,
which is what they always have been doing.
They went on a limb, made their own story with unique original characters, and it was interesting.
Yeah, and it's just like the whole like rags to slightly better rags thing that they were talking about. I think that totally worked. It like reset the game, reset the expectations. You didn't need jetpacks and hijacking
Where's my
airplanes and all that
jetpack?
crap. Yeah, it's just like
I think what it is it points out there's two different kinds of games. And Crackdown, there's still an audience that wants Crackdown. I think
right,
Crackdown
or like
2,
Saints Row 2.
please.
You know, it's like that's the
Right, and I think that's part of the backlash to Grand Theft Auto is as Grand Theft Auto has matured, then it's some of that crowd, it's sort of alienated. I mean, there are people who want to play Crackdown. There are people who want to play Saints Row. And
in Saints Row 2, you drive around a truck and shoot liquid shit onto houses.
Dude,
in a lot
yes.
of ways, you can't beat that.
That's the
Like-
first thing I did, and I was like, this game is an
Like
8.
that game is just the San Andreas 2, and that's awesome.
That's wish
but, like,
fulfillment for so many people.
I know, right? Like that has been a long time dream of mine. Finally realized.
And it had
That
Gary
game is-
Busey sponsoring it. Come on,
Yeah.
Gary Busey, man. It's fucking amazing.
That's a good
I
Gary.
love it, man. It's like,
You can squirt poo on houses.
Gary Busey at the Oscars with poor Alias, man. That chick.
We're snorting lines with his teeth. He's got some big ass teeth. He's Gary Busey.
Wow.
God damn, Jose.
I don't know what happened.
I noticed the GTA 4 money hat was written on
I know.
Game of the year money hat.
You are the new Rich Little. And congratulations.
The gaming Rich Little.
You're better than that guy on Spike TV or TBS. That asshole, Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
Dude, that guy's a tool. He is a
Dude, I'll own
tool.
Frank Kelly. I'll throw down the gauntlet.
An inspired choice for Blitz the League too, though. Just having him in there doing his Madden.
All right.
He was like, the best football player is got to be Brett Favre. Brett Favre is the best quarterback ever.
Your Madden sounds entirely senile.
Your Madden just sounded like
He's coked out Madden. He's
your
Blitz Madden.
Your Madden's not as on. All right,
I know.
you guys.
It's not as good.
Thanks. Next
Thank
crew
you.
coming
Word.
in is
Later.
Vinny and Ryan, I guess. And you need to line up our next pair to come in after Vinny and Ryan. And Jeff, you tried to get.
I like
the
how there's
twofer.
a ball jar of moonshine here that's not finished.
Is that what that is?
Tried to get the twofer.
If you haven't had it, you should
Oh no! I like that it's in a ball jar or care jar.
Oh, this is weird.
Oh, and Vinny, now you're on. You
You
haven't
can hear
had it on
yourself in your headset.
Yes.
yet. Is that good or
Vinny
bad? Or
Caravella.
This is weird. I've entered a.
Are we doing 4 minute warning?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what?
Let me get Turtle back in
So,
position.
do you guys use like stick mics or like regular radio mics?
We have proper studio mics.
I believe they have hot naked chicks holding mics at their hands.
I
Fuck
don't have
me,
that.
that's awesome.
God damn it.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Okay, I thought you guys were recording.
We're recording.
We
We're
are.
recording. You can talk.
I'm actually going to take off.
You have to take off. Wait.
I'm not feeling well.
Oh, David Ellis says he's not feeling well, so he has to go. It's very disappointing. Sorry.
Bye,
All right.
Dave.
All right. See you next time.
Happy trails.
Bye, Dave.
All right. So
So what's this? What is the format here? Paint me a
4
picture.
minutes. The question is, we hit a question.
Okay.
We have 4 minutes to talk about it. When 4 minutes pops, the crazy John Travolta
Turl gives us the out.
Rat turd.
Awesome.
he gives us the out. So up next is. This was from a longtime forum poster on the One Up boards, Yakety Yakety Blah, because he's got to get one in, of course. It says, in the last 3 weeks, I've beaten 3 games from start to finish, Mirror's Edge, Prince of Persia, and Fable 2. Each game only took 2 days to beat, and I worked full-time and was left feeling cheated because I spent money on a week-long rental and only got 2 days out of it. What is everyone's feeling about easy button features like golden breadcrumbs, Alika, and Go Here color coding?
Wait. You're pissed off that you beat the games you rented in 2 days, you asshole. Come on. Most people spend $60 on those games. Shut the fuck up.
Is he saying that these were actually rentals, or that he basically paid $60 for what was a rental?
He's saying that I think he says specifically that he rented them.
I didn't get 500 hours of gameplay out of my rentals. I would like a refund, Games and Flicks.
It's totally the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
I am really pleased at the current trend of just quality over quantity as far as the game experiences go. And having stuff like the golden breadcrumbs and things like that just it streamlines the experience. It removes the time that you have to spend. I got to reload this save, like with Prince of Persia. I think that helps that experience. Like, oh crap, I totally missed that jump, so I got to see the death game over screen and then reload back. It's like no, it happens more quickly, and then you get back into the game.
As an adult, I find myself not wanting 100-hour games. I mean, once in a while I want to delve into an RPG, but for an action adventure game, I think 12 hours is fine. That's what I want.
Go rent like Persona 4 and go play that and see how far you make it in your rental time.
Yeah. There are still games that exist that way, and it's definitely a much different experience. But I don't want that.
Does Yakety Yakety Blah think about how much time it takes to make the art assets and script and plot and everything for a 40-hour adventure game?
Plus, you could turn the breadcrumbs off.
You can't. Well, you can turn the
dim them.
You can dim them all the way out, which is fine. It does the same effect. I thought I'm on the exact opposite side. I'm with you, Ryan. I want a great quality game experience. It's worth my time. If I get a game that I can sit down and, God forbid, get to the end of and have the complete experience and enjoy what the designer had in mind as the whole experience, that makes me fucking happy.
Okay, of the games he mentioned, like Mirror's Edge, it has DLC coming with these time attacks, which are infinitely replayable.
Yeah.
Fable has a whole new island coming. There's things to continue your experience, and you didn't buy any of these games, asshole, so you won't be experiencing those. So enjoy not having the fun that the rest of us have because you're an asshole. Fuck you.
End of conversation.
Really love the community.
I love them.
Wow.
Shut your fucking mouth.
All right. So the Greek fisherman hat had it. Shane is very like
We
channeling.
still have another minute if you guys want to talk.
I don't know. I'm overwhelmed by the hatred.
What were the 3 games again?
The 3 games were Prince of Persia, Fable 2, and Mirror's Edge. And Fable 2, like if you beat Fable 2 in 2 days, I think you probably missed a lot of content.
Yeah, you're a machine. You're like sticking strictly to like the story plot.
And what's
quest.
funny is I find that the breadcrumbs really divided people. There were some people there was the breadcrumbs were an obsession. You couldn't stray from it. It's like there's this. I have to follow the path. The path is here. I have to follow the path. But the whole point of them was that you could not follow the path. And then when you typically in many role playing games, when you get off path, you're like, oh shit, what was I doing? I don't remember where I was supposed to be going or whatever. And then you come back to it and you're like,
Fallout 3.
You go, you go see like a treasure chest, or there's some bandits on the road, or just you see something like I want to go check that out. Yeah, it made it easier to get back on track.
So yeah, exactly. The whole beauty of this game was that you could go and screw around. You could go follow. Hey, look, there's a path over here. I wonder where it goes.
Go
you could
dig up some condoms.
Also, did he get all 1,001 light seeds? I think not. Not in Fable, but in Prince of Persia. So, yeah, I hate your question. And here is what Toro has to say about you.
Exterminate all man animals at will.
That's fitting. That works. I like it. I like it.
My sentiments exactly.
You and John Travolta.
Crispy 4001 asks, in the U.S.,
Crispy 4000 was taken. Damn it.
In the U.S., will the Guitar Hero franchise in 2009 continue to be the only breakout third-party hit on the Wii? What's the likelihood of other third-party Wii games and franchises showing up in monthly NPD top 10s next year?
Good question.
It was a great question.
That's not bad.
Crispy asked a good question.
Because there have been some really gorgeous third-party games on the Wii that just crash and burn.
Shock till you drop is gonna. That's what it's gonna take.
Zack and Wiki comes to mind.
Huge flop.
Right.
Yeah, just like here's a brilliant game that should have gotten a lot more attention that just no one cared about.
Meanwhile, Carnival Games sells millions.
So that's the
Game
question.
Party. Fucking Game Party.
Game Party 2.
Dude.
Midway.
What the fuck?
This is getting angry.
No, seriously. Like I remember talking to some of the Midway guys, and they were saying how Game Party sold like 1 million copies.
I mean, are you surprised that minigame collections sell?
I'm surprised that something called Game Party, like Carnival Games, at least has a hook. Like Carnival, okay, it's like I go to the Carnival and I throw the ball at the milk bottles or whatever.
I love the tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah, but no. I
like the pirate ship.
But with Game Party, like you could not get more nondescript than that, and yet it sold 1 million copies.
Okay, the lack of quality third-party games on Wii is like the real cancer eating away at it.
Yeah.
And hopefully, the recent announcement of Square Enix doing Dragon Quest X, that's a game that at least in Japan will sell millions of units, and in America has a lot of potential. And if they treat it with care and make a really good game, I'll buy it. I'll buy it full price, and like other people should too.
It's been pointed out on this question thread that the DS started off with with sort of a similar situation, with the developers not being adept at using what was the DS's strengths with the touch screen and the way the games were being designed.
Where
for
you're going is that now there are amazing third-party DS games. Would you please tell me what those are?
There are
Final Fantasy IV.
Yeah, I mean, Square makes a lot of good games. Castlevania is good. Here and there's good games on DS, but lion's share of DS games are still garbage, just like we.
Nintendo has never had on their console a tremendous flood of games such as PlayStation or Xbox.
NES and Super Nintendo say hi.
Well,
yeah, but there was a lot of crap there too.
There was a lot of crap
third
there.
parties were making games.
Third parties were making
almost
games.
the same quality, and sometimes beyond the quality of what Nintendo was making. That isn't what it is on Wii and DS.
You're right, and I think I think what's going to be frustrating is that there will be third-party games that hit the NPDs next year, but it'll be more of the games that we're going to go fuck, why is that game on there?
Okay, I will say there is hope. There's a silver lining. Like, remember back at Capcom's event like months ago, they showed this game called what was it called? What's it called? It's like these little
draw a picture.
It's like a
theater of the mind. Come on,
a team of 4 adventures. Like it's not Spectro, but it's called. Anyway,
what's that game?
Whatever that game was called, it's his original IP for Wii. Fuck, I'm drunk. But they recently announced they're redoing the whole game to make it better. So
good for them.
Capcom at least is realized we have to try harder with Wii.
There's also
the problem though is that the audience doesn't demand it. Like what's been proven is that the third-party games that you sell,
they're buying Wii Play.
Yeah,
they're buying Wii Fit.
Is they want things that are easy. Like that. That's just not an audience that, in general. Yeah, there is a core group of people there that have Wiis that want something that's maybe a little more engaging, a little more serious, not just a mini game collection, but they are grossly outnumbered by people who just go and buy a Wii because they want to play the Wii Sports.
Right.
So like that's really the fundamental issue is who is buying Wiis and therefore who is going to be buying the games.
It's that time.
Can you get another one? That was not even a.
I give the orders. Do you understand?
I'm
Exactly,
sorry,
Nintendo.
Turtle.
That was
I
Reggie.
give the orders. Do you
Right.
understand? Of course.
So, game of the fucking year.
Who wants to go first?
Oh, you
Vinny?
go first.
Vinny, I give it to you.
Oh man, we've talked about this so much.
There's been a lot of conversation
Gut
about
reactions?
this. I'm going to say Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh, applause.
Which is
applause breaks out.
out of character for me because I do not like the Metal Gear Solid series in general. Like I've
Really?
never cared for any of the previous, never beat any of the previous games. Didn't play 3, barely played 2.
That's completely bizarre.
But I really
That is kind of bizarre.
Well, here's the thing: they finally made it a game I could play.
well, yeah, the controls
Like that was the
controls
thing.
were westernized, modernized.
Yeah.
So they
And
win.
it was gorgeous, and I thought that just everything looked great. Like any game that looks good has still some sort of rough edge to it, but every single thing that you are shown in that game looks completely gorgeous, and that's an achievement that I think is worth noting.
It is a pretty incredibly polished performance.
I always thought you were a genius, Ryan.
Is that your pick, Shane?
He gets to go at the end. Are you guys going to make out, though, later?
We'll see. We have this moonshine here. Still.
Glances were exchanged.
That plays on the
this up.
radio.
Vinny.
Metal Gear Solid 4 is a great game. Personally, I really like Dead Space. I really do.
Wow, that's an unexpected one. I think
Yeah.
Dead Space. A lot of people would have thought Dead Space would get into
I think
game of
Dead
the year
Space
discussion.
surprised a lot of people. I'll never forget. Before E3, I was at a E3 judges event, and we got to go play Resident Evil 5. Everybody,
Yeah.
and we all went to go play Dead Space. And most of the people I talked to were like, "Dead Space is more fun than Resident Evil 5."
Yeah. Dead Space, I could not, when I was playing, could not think of anything I would do differently in that game.
Really?
Yeah, it was super tight.
I'm looking forward to playing that game at some point. I haven't gotten to Dead Space, so I can't say much about it other than having watched it. That the dismemberment mechanic that they added to it seems to have really made it catch with people. I mean, I think that really got to where people liked it because the weapons aren't weapons; they're all like different tools from around the ship, and by virtue of them being tools from around the ship, that adds like a part where we actually have to do something.
And
All
it's
right.
an original IP, which is exciting.
John, we need 2 additions to the game of the year. We need Metal Gear Solid 4.
No, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising.
Shocking. I know.
It took that long. I know it's right under Money Hat. The game.
I assume Jeff put or posted Banjo-Kazooie up there.
Yeah.
That would
No, that was Brad
would be Brad.
Shoemaker.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And-
either of those, that doesn't
and
surprise me.
Dead Space.
And Dead Space.
I
So
started
far,
playing Dead
no
Space today.
duplicates.
That's shocking.
No duplicates to this point.
Maybe it's because you're putting them up on the wall and we're seeing it. And
There's a bunch of Shane games I'm surprised aren't up here yet.
Well-
Because we haven't talked about them yet.
All right, so guys,
Yes.
we're gonna let John and Patrick join us for
Fantastic.
the next
Tag
few
out.
questions.
Awesome.
And don't forget, you guys, you need to be ready. Like by the time you get to the end of this, you have to be ready to name your game of the year. And unfortunately, Dave left. We have no David. Yeah,
David Ellis's game of the year is Gears of War 2, I believe.
yeah, I'm gonna bet it's Gears of War 2.
really?
He loves him some Gears of War 2. All right, so we're going to do 2 more 2008 4-minute warning questions.
All right.
Get these guys 2008 Game of the Year. Get Shane and I's 2008 Game of the Year, and then we're going to take a break and then go to 2009. So now I only have 2 questions left. I have to kind of choose from here. Wow, this is difficult. Media Haze asks, if you had to pick one playable character from 2008 that you enjoyed playing the most, who would that be and why? Some sub-questions would be, what character made you feel the most empowered? What character did you feel the most at home in? And which character in 2009 are you most looking... Which character?
This is too many questions.
Yeah, forget
Too many
2009.
questions.
Anyway, what'd you like the most? Which character?
Which character did I most enjoy playing? And
in 2008?
I will say that was Old Snake in Metal Gear Solid 4.
I have to agree.
Because I felt his pain when he reached... Like, I would try to...
Every time he would go,
Yeah, when you feel his age, and like, I don't want to spoil things, John, but when you get to Act 5, there was a part in Act 5 that more than any game I've ever played in my entire life makes me feel what my character is going through in a really compelling way, and it was brilliant.
I got to say, I'm with him on Old Snake, and I'm only on Act 3.
Can I just... I mean, it won't be... I don't think this is too big of a spoiler.
What?
The oven.
Did you even get that far?
I finished the game. Hell
Oh, okay, yeah, that.
I
There you
would...
go.
I would actually...
Even though you hate that game.
I don't hate the game. I would say that of all the moments, that was the moment that I had the strongest connection with a character in a game this year. And people are going to be really pissed because they'll be like, you hated that game. And you know what I'm going to tell you is the best character I played this year? And I only played her for 3 chapters.
No, you're not going to say Lara Croft, are
I'm
you?
going to say Faith.
Oh, okay.
I was.
Wait, you hate Mirror's Edge?
I know.
Asshole.
I know.
I was going to say Faith too.
But the fact that I dislike the game doesn't override that I get the creative spark of the character.
I don't like the way she looks though.
I could do without the tat on her face. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. Faith, Mirror's Edge for like all of its flaws. Like,
but you love that. I saw your Facebook.
The exhilaration. I put 60 hours in to Fallout 3, and I mean this is a different discussion for games of the year. But
that's not but the character is you.
The character is you. Like the character is you in Fallout 3. That's why I'm saying when in Mirror's Edge, like the moments where I was jumping, ducking, like running over large gaps, the moments in Mirror's Edge where I felt exhilarated were like moments where I was at the top of a roller coaster looking down and my stomach was like feeling
what
weird.
Was the question again? Because I think there's lots of different interpretations of...
If you had to pick one playable character from 2008 that you enjoyed playing the most, who would that be and
so like because there's the way the game made you feel in being the character, and there's also the character that you were playing. It's two very different.
It's funny, like Nico Bellic is a character that I didn't really like being.
I was going to say,
but I had
Nico
fun as it.
That's
I had
true.
fun as Nico, and I
would agree with.
I also
Nico,
liked
definitely.
Nico as a character because he was ultimately pretty tragic, which I thought was
tragic.
Was quite
for the first half of
daring.
the game.
I mean, like, we talked in last week's show about, that's what games are. It's all guns and blood and tits and swearing. But, Nico kind of transcended all of that and was ultimately a very sad, in the true sense of the word, character. I mean, like, by the time you were getting towards the end of that game, you were like, geez, this guy's had a pretty rough ride. And with the exception of Snake, which I think did it better, there's not many games that you feel that way
That's
about.
definitely the very cool allegory of the broken American dream aspect of Grand Theft Auto that is so powerful. I mean, that's one of the things I think is very powerful about that game.
Yeah, and I think it did it well because he wasn't particularly... Like a lot of game characters, they put a lot of time and effort into making you feel empowered and making you feel, like this unstoppable force of nature or whatever. And I think
that would be Faith.
And
like Faith I feel empowered when I'm jumping.
And she's all but superhuman.
Okay, Patrick. So you're picking Faith.
Yeah, I'm still picking Faith. Like, I mean, if we can argue semantics in terms of like how the character made us feel, whether it was a specific character that we're watching from the external that we enjoyed watching in cutscenes and how they changed. But like, Faith made me feel empowered as a player when I'm jumping, when I'm crouching.
That's the most intelligent thing you've said yet.
There's a character.
Yeah, it means it's over. Fucker.
No. But there's a character that I wanted to be.
Who is that?
Shocks me, and it's Ryden in MGS4. And after disliking Ryden so much in MGS2,
that's what's so brilliant. Like the character everybody hated in MGS2, they made him the ultimate badass.
Yeah, I mean, he was like that first scene that they're dropping the hints for so long that he's coming. When's the scene going to come when he arrives? And then when he does, and it's like, fucking hell.
He becomes the character you want to be at that point.
Right.
Okay, Media Haze gets a very quick topical knock-on question that you can just give a quick one-off answer. If you had to make a game with Sarah Palin as the main character, what type of game would it be? What special powers would she have, and how would the game end?
That's an amazing question.
That is an amazing question.
I'm actually hoping that the Fallout 3 DLC that starts in Alaska that comes out in January has a Sarah Palin robot.
You missed Jose's brilliant impersonation of our governor or whatever. But no, I
very good.
I think she makes sense in like a Soul Calibur fighting
awesome.
game.
How about a hunting game?
That's brilliant. Actually,
Big Buck Hunter, Big Buck Hunter, Sarah Palin edition
from a helicopter.
Yeah,
right. You have the rifle.
Your silent scope.
Silent scope. Sarah Palin Alaska edition. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And how does the game end?
Well, I think ultimately
you lose.
Well, but shouldn't there be? Okay, wouldn't there also be maybe a mini game where you're in a beauty pageant?
I think there'd be a dress-up game as well, obviously.
A shopping game?
Some sort of DS game.
Dressing up kind of doll game.
Home, you could be Sarah Palin at home.
Exactly. It would take you a long time to build the avatar, though.
And can't you actually be Sarah Palin in Mercenaries 2 now?
That's true. You can actually be Sarah Palin.
You can be Sarah Palin and Barack Obama.
Wow.
A major diss to McCain.
Wow.
God, there's so many good questions. We only get one more. I'm torn. I'm so torn here.
Oh boy,
I'm very
what was that?
torn. That
was John Travolta farting.
It was.
Yeah, I didn't hear any dialogue.
That was him ascending to OT3.
retro
He's
guys.
clear of negative thetans.
Retro gaming or 360 bashing?
Can't it be both?
I don't know.
Let's do the 360.
Let's do the 360 one. Okay. Game Grump throws this one out there. Looking at this trend, how about reconsidering Microsoft's obvious mistake of releasing a no hard drive version of their system? Doesn't having the arcade unit on the shelves keep developers honest? As in, the raw disc must play the game, no excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, there are other ways of ensuring developer honesty, like contracts, but nothing beats the fact that I don't have a light now because the light went off. Nothing beats the physical hard stop of no hard drive. Is Microsoft's decision actually not a blunder, but a blessing?
Can I digress before we answer? I have to say I had a Red Ring issue recently and sent the very nice man Sean, very friendly at Microsoft, sorted it out. But I sent them a premium,
and they sent you back.
And they sent me back an arcade.
Really?
Yeah,
I saw that.
So and the way you can tell obviously is the chromed drawer. I mean, apart from that, I mean, who gives?
It's not really any different.
It doesn't. But it did kind of irk me a little bit that this is not what I gave you.
This is something you had in a box.
Which prompted people to say, "What does this mean if I send an Elite bag that I might not get an Elite in return?"
That's a concern. Okay, but they have added a little bit of onboard RAM to the arcade.
Right.
Okay.
However,
because of NXE.
However,
so let me give you the preface. The rest of his post prior to this was talking about how during 2008, video game companies, console game companies have started releasing games that are incomplete, expecting that you'll be online and you'll just patch it and things will be okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and I'll say a game like The Last Remnant, which is basically unplayable unless you install it to your hard drive, is a serious concern.
Yeah.
Because, like the reviews across the board were fairly negative on that game, yet people who played it and installed it were like, no, this game's actually really good if you install it. Well, that's a huge divide. And, what's the ultimate message to the consumer at home?
Right.
There. You're like, some of you can have this game and it'll run well. Everybody else, it's going to run like shit.
Because I think the broad argument of, the casual customer that wants the arcade unit isn't going to be interested in downloading games or whatever, it doesn't hold water anymore because it has been fragmented so much by this stuff. And also, Rock Band, Guitar Hero, I mean, there's an argument there, the casual user, they're not going to want to download stuff. But yeah, if you really want a particular song, you're going to want to download it.
Or if you're talking about music games, the most popular place to play music games is on the Wii. The fact that Rock Band 2 is not releasing their game that might come out before Christmas, the fact that the only Guitar Hero that charted in the last month was Guitar Hero World Tour on Wii.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero is the place you go to play music games if you want, regardless if you want to download them. But in fact, those people probably do want to download them, and you can stream them off the SD card on the Guitar Hero on Rock Band. So both games are fully capable of doing that. But if you want to do that, people want to do it on the Wii. That's where you do these casual gaming experiences, and.
But was being disc-based and forcing developer honesty, which he used air quotes around, was that a good thing for the arcade? I can see the point. I mean, especially. I mean, of course, I'm coming off having played SOCOM and seeing their reliance on it being patched. But if I bought SOCOM, well. I mean, I guess there's no reason to buy SOCOM if you don't have an internet connection. I'm trying to think of something that would be
my
comparable.
impression is that Microsoft's image of the arcade consumer is the person that wants to play Kung Fu Panda and Lego Indie and Lego Star Wars and Lego.
They're not going to play multiplayer games. Like you're talking about SOCOM. Are you going to buy SOCOM when you're going to want to play a single player adventure?
No, that was a bad example. But
no,
it's not even on the right platform.
Well, but actually, so in his intro, he had compared the PS3 games where they know that you have a hard drive and they anticipate that you're going to have the game there.
Arcade sales are ramping up. The average purchase price of 360 is going down. More arcades are being bought, so it's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue moving forward, and that's 4 minutes.
And developers are going to need to be building games making that assumption. So I mean, I think what we might see is that some of this stuff not happening at all, really.
Man is an endangered species.
All right, Patrick. Game of the year 2008 gut reaction.
Fallout 3, but I want to pick Mirror's Edge.
Wait,
you can only pick one.
Pick what you want to pick.
Okay. Well, so one of these things I'm discussing. Maybe you guys can give me some feedback. But
is this a head choice and a heart choice?
I have played 60 hours of Fallout 3, and I finished it 2 weeks ago.
All right.
I respect the moments in Mirror's Edge where I felt most exhilarated, where I was jumping, where I like how we were talking before we were playing as Faith, were the most intense, exciting parts that I've done in the last 12 months. But I put 60 hours into Fallout 3 because it was so compelling. It was so interesting. The stories it was telling when you went to the various dungeons was unlike anything I've played since Final Fantasy VIII when I was in high school. I've not played 60 hours in a game since I was in high school.
Really?
But, yeah.
Wow.
But Mirror's Edge made me feel more exhilarated during the moments that I played it, even though the combat is awful. So, like, Fallout 3 is my gut reaction, but Mirror's Edge, I feel like I would honor more with the Game of the Year because I feel like it got more of a reaction out of me during the points that it was high. So, like, I'm curious, if very briefly, if you guys would give me feedback. I don't choose Game of the Year awards. I don't have to do Game of the Year awards. I wasn't even around at when they chose Game of the Year awards. Like, between those two, how would you balance between you guys how you choose what is your favorite Game of the Year?
Well, I think it's a personal decision, right? I mean, you have to at the end of the day.
Is that what are we doing? Is this personal picks, or are we trying to aggregate towards something that deserves
this is your personal
purely personal?
Because it sounds like you're saying Mirror's Edge deserves it, but in your heart, it's Fallout.
Well, because I put in all the hours, but like the highs of Fallout don't compare to the highs of Mirror's Edge, but the highs of Mirror's Edge were far fewer than the highs.
If the
in
60
Fallout.
hours that you got from Fallout 3 ultimately add up to more enjoyment than the 12 hours or whatever of Mirror's Edge, and then it's probably Fallout 3 for you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the question is Desert Island. Which one do you want? Which one do you want to make you happy? I mean, and you're going to get rescued, so I'll just go ahead and say you're going to get rescued or whatever. But like, lock yourself.
You're not stuck with it forever.
Lock yourself.
You are part of
I'm stuck with it for 60 hours.
You're part of the Oceanic 6.
Yeah, I mean,
then it would ultimately Fallout. But like that was my struggle over it. Was like between those two games. Was like when I was playing Mirror's Edge. Is like anytime where I was running, anytime like I was running after someone, away from someone, anytime I wasn't in combat, it was just like one of the most incredible things I've ever played in a game. First-person platforming works, but Fallout, I guess, would ultimately be it.
It's a very difficult question. I mean, I don't. It's a very. Difficult
I played it for 60 hours, so I.
All right, that's enough, Patrick.
Yes, John.
I have 4, but I think I know which one is the one I'm going to go with.
John.
God.
Yep.
What does your heart tell you?
What my heart tell me? Burnout Paradise.
Whoa! Awesome.
Wow, Burnout Paradise.
Yeah.
That's my third runner-up, but
yeah.
I love it.
So my 4 are GTA, Fallout, Metal Gear, and Burnout, but I think Burnout takes it.
So why does Burnout take it?
Because I'll play it indefinitely.
You'll be playing it next year.
And I'll be playing it next year
That's
and
like
the year
Fallout for
after.
me.
And they keep adding to it, and it's awesome. And it came out in January, and I think one of the other thing is, I think when we get to Game of the Year, people think about Q4 and forget about stuff that came out at the beginning of the year. But I have probably played more of that than anything else this year, and when there's nothing else around, that's what I put in.
The content package doesn't make it like a Game of the Year, but the fact that it was such a great game and there's that great content continuation.
It keeps it in your mind.
It keeps it in your mind, and it keeps it like at the forefront throughout the year. I mean, like you said, typically January games completely forgotten. I can tell you, we talked a lot about Burnout Paradise when we've talked about Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been right there.
And it's still by far, I think, the best driving game on either platform. I thought Pacific Rim came close.
I think Pacific Rim gets close for arcadey.
Yeah.
Well, but Burnout's arcadey too. They're both really good.
Yeah.
Shane, do we know where you're going?
My number one choice for Game of the Year 2008 is Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. Nice. I believe it is the greatest Metal Gear Solid game ever made. I believe it is a work of absolute genius. I think its narrative is incredibly compelling, and I can't believe how well Kojima and Murata were able to tie together the incredibly complex mythology of Metal Gear Solid.
I mean, when we had Ryan on the podcast and I wasn't sold on it yet, it was because I was very early in the game and it hadn't grabbed me yet. And it is definitely, it's something that you got to put some time into it if you to really sink its teeth into you. I think, when it does, my God.
Right, and the gameplay is really amazing, and the graphics are amazing. But for me, what tied it together was the story, the performances, the writing. It has something to say. There's a depth to it. It's not just surface. So many games out there are just like flash, no substance. This game has tons of substance. My runners-up are Little Big Planet and Burnout Paradise.
Wow, great choices. So it falls to me, and my Game of the Year is Grand Theft Auto 4.
Another controversial choice.
Grand Theft Auto 4 amazes me on the fact that the world that they created of Liberty City is fantastic, and every time I go back to it, I have a good time.
Did you beat
it? I have not beaten it yet. I've played and played and played.
So you've abandoned this because are you at least willing to say like the story is really bad halfway through?
The story slows down, and I think that actually they got caught in a situation maybe of trying to create. Artificially elongate it. I mean, there's more.
I don't think there's any question that they stretched it out.
there's more.
It's really great for about 18 hours, and then it goes on for 35.
There's more content that they needed, but that doesn't change.
You reach a point where you're like, I think I'm nearly done,
and you're not,
and you're
so
really not.
You're so not, right?
So, are you doing the part that I didn't get out of GTA 4, which is like I didn't enjoy the open world part of it because I thought the narrative was so focused and like kept barreling me forward, and the visuals were so realistic that like I didn't want to kill cops, I didn't want to do the things that I thought were fun in other GTAs, and you did, and like so and you enjoyed the open world.
Not only were they fun, they were like so much more powerful because they were so much more gripping and real, and like you're there and consequential.
I really loved it, but I still think San Andreas is better. Because I'm still not completely on board with the grittier, more realistic. I like the comic book GTA
more
vibe,
more fanciful.
Better. Yeah,
I think there's an argument for that. I can hear an argument for that.
And the fact that it would keep like GTA. I mean, it surprised you with in a sort of action movie kind of a way. But San Andreas, it would just like throw you a curveball like every 6 hours, where you'd be like, Jesus, I wasn't expecting that at all.
I wanted the evolution of the series, and you know what? They were close with CJ, but I think with Nico, they really nailed like making it more than just an open world game and having it have narrative that matters. And I think they got so caught up in that, like you said, they put more content into it than they needed to do. And then I'm sad that the multiplayer got passed by so quickly. The problem with the multiplayer was it really, really only worked if you played with your friends.
We had a fun couple of days that we played.
The times that we played where it was all friends and we played the game, we had a blast.
Me, you, and David Ellis had like a fun 2 days, and then it was just like no one played it after that.
Well, and if you got an open game on live, you
were dead in 10 seconds.
Yeah,
you were dead in 10 seconds, and because when you would play stuff where the whole city became available to you, that's not fun with a bunch of random douchebags online.
Exactly.
It's fun with a random douchebag that's your friend.
Exactly.
Well, also then, you would get lost and people would wander off, and it didn't keep it very focused unless you were all.
So I haven't played, I haven't played the PC stuff. I heard the PC stuff adds more multiplayer, so I don't know if that makes it perhaps more streamlined.
Does the PC one work yet?
Maybe it doesn't, but
maybe by now it does. It's December 26th. Who knows? Maybe it works now.
It's Christmas, the day after Christmas.
So, and runners up, I agree. Little Big Planet's so close. I mean,
you haven't played the retail version at all.
So close, Little Big Planet. Dude, I've seen so much Little Big Planet.
I've seen a lot of things.
Whatever. And then number 3, Fable 2. Yeah, Fable 2.
Is Fable 2 on the board?
No, Fable 2 hasn't made the board at all. But I thought Fable 2 was. I was somewhat stunned that G4 named it their game of the year.
Not all of G4.
I have not yet even taken it out of the round. It's one of those Metal Gear is the first of my sort of immediate pile of shame, and Fable 2 is probably next.
Yeah, Fable 2 is on mine too. I played 60 hours of Fallout and was like, I need a break from an RPG.
Well, that's why I haven't gone and reinvested in Fallout 3. So anyway, that's a really interesting list we have up there now.
Let's run it again. So Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, Yakuza 2, Fallout 3, GTA 4, Money Hat.
Yes, when Jeff said Grand Theft Auto, they were like Money Hats.
Okay, MGS4, Dead Space, Fallout 3 again. So Fallout 3 and MGS4
and GTA 4.
Oh, GTA 4 got the most votes.
Got both.
But you know what that tells me is that regardless of what is determined, there were so many good games this year for everyone of so many different tastes. Game of the year is so irrelevant to me as much as there were game of the years for so many different people that like different things.
Yeah. There you go. All right, we got one final segment for 2008, and that's going to be the 2009 predictions and 4-Minute Warning show. Stick around. We'll be right back with that. That's the signal for the final segment of one of yours for 2008. And, of course, we'll do what we always do, is we just make a bunch of harebrained predictions that you guys will list on message boards and tell us about how fucking wrong we were. If you haven't looked at the one that's in the 2008 or in the 4-minute warning thread, like one of the users actually posted all of our predictions.
Were we completely wrong?
They were pretty bad, yeah.
We had a pretty good track record the year before, though.
We did have a good track record the year before.
This year went to shit. We couldn't have predicted that.
Actually, John's going to leave in a minute. Before we get into 4-minute warning questions, do you want to throw any big predictions for next year out there? Any prognostications? Prognostication hand grenade? Yeah, that's a good answer. All right.
Yeah.
2007, this question comes from Jay Chuck. He says 2007 was the good use of DLC. 2008 was the unnecessary overload of extra plastic peripherals. What do you think is going to be the big break or trend for 2009, better or worse?
I'd like to think it would be downloadable games. Like full games.
Yeah.
I mean, because PSP is going that way.
Yeah.
360, we're hearing rumors.
Well, I mean,
games.
it's not so much a prediction because it was starting to break, but I think the whole PSP 4000 followed by PSP 2, I think there's a lot of weight to that.
That's not real. It's not happening. John, what are you talking about?
I think every time David Reeves says something isn't going to happen,
it's not happening.
Doesn't that mean that it definitely is?
No. Of course not.
Tomorrow.
They've assured us, the high-placed officials have assured us it's not what's happening.
Well, and John, you're also very hot on iPhone gaming.
I am.
Do you think it's really going to be legitimized in 2009?
I think so, yeah.
Dude,
but legitimized in a... I think putting it up against DS and PSP is a mistake.
Not fair.
It's a very different kind of thing, but I think the number of people that are going to get drawn into gaming because of some cool stuff coming to the iPhone, I think there's a lot of people that, they might play Rolando or they might play some of these.
Shane, the piece of shit phone that you used to have and now you have an iPhone, like the number of people that will get drawn into like sort of micro gaming, like due to the iPhone, due to an iPod Touch, like will be remarkable in 2009, especially considering like stuff we're talking about, like Rolando, like is stuff that was developed in 6 months, started in June, coming out in December, and that's 6 months dev time for a new platform. If you think about the PSP or the DS in terms of where they were in 6 months and where the iPhone has become, like the iPhone is the big platform to watch in 2009.
But like, I'm not a casual gamer, and as a hardcore gamer, I feel there's a lack of must-have games, and there's like a proliferation of garbage that isn't being sifted through, and it's hard to find the good games on the store.
But I don't think it's ever going to be hard. I think it's always going to be casual just by nature of what it is,
But with the Metal Gear Solid coming out, that's a hardcore game.
But it looks like a casual version of Metal Gear Solid.
But what might happen is people may try the iPhone game first and may be attracted to the world and the character and may want to go try MGS.
What are the trends you think? Garnet, what do you think?
I think you guys took the iPhone. I mean, the iPhone one was definitely... I mean, I almost feel bad calling that a trend for next year because I think we're on the cusp of it. I think we're actually already into it right now.
I don't think it's a trend yet. Like, I think it'll become much more prevalent next year.
So I think the next piece then would be the idea of... Maybe not episodic gaming. I'm not convinced that episodic gaming is going to work because I still haven't seen anybody execute on it right.
Whatever happened to Half-Life Episode 3?
Well,
Telltale is the only company that's managed to do it.
Right, they managed to do it, and they've managed to do it with a very specifically well-tailored product that fits to that. So I don't see it becoming a trend. But what I do see becoming a trend is more of this bite-sized game, and it's sort of the same thing as like works on the iPod. But what we're seeing in community games, what we're seeing in XBLA, what we're seeing on PSN,
it's games for older people that don't have as much time on their hands, and I think we're finally getting stuff tailored specifically
to them.
Consumers
you want very a la carte gaming, very a la carte gaming. I think wow. There you go. That's my prediction. That's my trend.
I have another prediction. This isn't a trend. We're not answering his question. I have another prediction. I think a renewed effort from Sony on PSP. I think we're going to.
I hope so.
I think we're going to see some.
It's languishing.
I think they're going to pour some money into attracting some big third-party products, and if the rumors are to be believed about what some of those might be, I think there's some good exclusive PSP content coming.
I would also say the era of the plastic peripheral is not over. Wait till you see the Tony Hawk fucking skateboard you have to stand on and whatever else they have planned. Like plastic garbage in your living room is going to pile up like never before.
Yeah.
All right. Voice sounder.
All right, brain.
Project Runaway asks, with Sony launching the Home open beta towards the end of 2008, do you expect them to promote Home in 2009 more heavily now in their commercials to get those who purchased a PS3 to notice it?
One of the things I want to pitch, which I've always thought about Home, is that everyone's like kind of playing with Home because everyone's downloaded it and like it's the new thing. Would you use Home more like I would? Is if you could set it to a default when you boot up your PS3 instead of going to the cross media bar, which is like this archaic way of like going through media and playing games.
Well,
like,
no, I'd say the XMB is a much faster, more efficient way of getting to your games and media than walking around and looking for them.
But in terms of Home, which is supposed to be some sort of like it's every way it's pitched is like it's supposed to be like the replacement. Like
no, I think it's pitched as a social community, and that's what it is.
But would
it's also a place to look at ads and purchase goods and services.
Would you use it more if you could set it so like when because like I would if I could set Home to be like the thing that happens when I turned on my PS3, I would use it more. Probably any like Katie, my girlfriend, would use it more, or at least be interested. I cannot imagine at any point would she ever be in.
If that was the case,
I think it's a catch-22.
But I cannot imagine any person ever like my girlfriend who like is like slowly getting into games like hardcore games would ever be interested in scrolling over, going down, entering into this virtual world where she has to make this creepy character that kind of looks like her, but really just looks like someone that's going to get hit on by a bunch of people in this virtual world.
Yeah, and then ultimately someone is just going to, dry hump her in the...
Yeah, exactly. But if I could, erase from her, but like if I could make that the thing that I turned it on, I would use Home more. If I could just turn it on and I'm in Home, I am forced to look around and see what's new in Home.
Dude, I think you're the only person who wants to be forced to boot into Home. This
is going to be controversial.
And I'm like a defender of Home, and I don't want to be forced to boot into Home. I think it's a cool option. I think it's a good place to meet people. I think it has a lot of expandability and potential.
I think if it's an option, it will only be like the only time when there's a game space will be the only time it would ever be interested in looking at it, because why would I ever want to?
I think if I logged on, like say Home starts working and like the way it was,
say Home starts working,
say it's working the way it's supposed to be, and you and I are both online, and you're like, hey, come to my apartment, we're gonna like listen to music and watch porn. Yeah, that's cool. That's not what it is. Yeah,
I'm going to use Home until they get a good selection of beards in the avatar editor.
There are no beards.
There are no fucking beards,
and you'll probably have to pay for it.
They intend to monetize those beards.
I'm gonna be controversial here and say that actually I think there's a strong possibility, and people are going to laugh, this is going to be one of those ones, I think there's a strong possibility that, especially given the pressure Sony's going to face after what I predict will probably be poor sales results again in December,
they will shoot it in the head.
Home is going to be the scapegoat.
They can't blame Home.
They're not going to scapegoat it, but I wouldn't be surprised if by June they kill it.
I'm a little bummed that in an open beta you're charging $4.99 for a summer Home.
But John,
it's still a beta. Still a beta. It's Phil is now going to be a year and a half removed, and there's obviously a schism there. It doesn't work as advertised. There's a tremendous amount of effort that needs to be plowed into it.
I think it does work as advertised. And John, you have to have heard like the kind of licensees and advertisers they have lined up. It's a huge money pipe for Sony.
There's nothing.
They're not going to kill it.
There's nothing to prevent them.
Those advertisers and a lot of those kinds of companies are really pulling back on marketing spend, and it's exotic stuff like Home that they're going to pull out of before they pull out
That's a point.
Because the reach is going to, it's going to blow.
There's been no press release as to how many people have downloaded Home, but I say, if 1 million people download Home, that's 1 million people looking at your ad. That's 1 million people watching Twilight commercials on a wall. I mean,
that's 1 million people who decided to play with the new shiny thing when it was in front of them for a minute.
What I think might work is if the themed areas become like demo launch areas.
I agree with this.
So
if that became regular,
if more than just wandering into the Uncharted 2 bar, if I can then go launch a demo of Uncharted 2, then I've got a reason to go to Home. It's got to be event driven, and this is what all of the online virtual worlds have learned: is that people will only mill around and do stuff up to a point, but you have to have like a group of people that are giving people things to do.
Okay, I gotta say, like prophesying the death of Home after 7 days is very short-sighted.
I'm a cycle of my word.
Damn it! I wanted to get in one more comment on that. All right, hold on a second. I'm giving up my card so they can go in and out of the building. You also have to use it in the elevator. All right, so let's see. We did 2. Do you want to do one more?
Sure.
All right, one more. Goose officer. Goose officer. Like it's like a philosopher.
A goose offer. Okay.
A goose philosopher.
I accept your offer for a goose.
Goose father.
Have we come to a plateau in gaming where it's going to be rare to see any new innovations that are groundbreaking? Sure, 4-player co-op is fun, but it isn't earth-shattering. We're seeing so many games now that, although enjoyable and technically sound, don't bring anything new to the table. How can this be rectified in 2009?
DS, iPhone,
I think
Wii,
2008 was exceptional for the amount of innovation that we did get.
So many new ideas.
It was a spectacular. I think it's just a bit, and what it's done is, I think it's provoked a lot of people to go away and think about crazy new ways of doing
like
stuff.
A game like Little Big Planet opens up so many possibilities.
Like the idea of social networking. Like Little Big Planet is a product of social networking become a part of games. Like, you know what? This game, you constantly complained about like people not playing the single player. Garnet hasn't played the single player, and I haven't played the single player, but I've played the like downloadable games like. Download levels of Little Big Planet because I view Little Big Planet as the single player is a like part of that experience, but I view it as a social network game.
I think to turn around the question, I think part of the problem is there's a large part of the audience that is not prepared to experience a lot of the innovative stuff because it's turning up in places they're not used to, on platforms that they're not comfortable with.
This same core of the backlash to Wii from core games.
Right. Well, it's people that don't want to go to Wii, they don't want to try.
And we're 3 years in, and those people are still getting upset about it.
Even though we might hate Wii or whatever, Wii Fit cannot be denied. Wii Fit is huge.
Yeah. Wii Fit, Wii Play, Mario Kart, like all in top 5 in November.
For yourself, I don't hate Wii.
Yeah, you love your Wii. You just bought one, but like,
and I haven't played it, but I still don't hate it.
That's why you like it.
But outside of that, there's things happening in the free-to-play browser-based game world. There's things in the virtual
Club
world.
Penguin, Pixie Hollow. Hello.
But beyond that, things like the Shin Megami Tensei game, the Area are doing, which is like a full-on MMORPG, and
really
it's free.
Battlefield Heroes.
Wizard Battlefield Heroes, Wizard 101.
Wizard 101.
They added PvP, and a streaming download area is coming early next year that's 40% the size of the game. You don't pay for it. It just streams in. I mean, these are things that...
People are just like very scared and upset like to accept these new ideas, and like we're all like as like writers like forced to accept it a little bit faster, but like people will get to it because they don't have a choice. And like you have games like Little Big Planet like a step towards accepting that. Like Little Big Planet is like a step towards accepting like this social networking sort of idea of games, but like it will happen. It's going to happen. Right. It's going to continue to happen.
2008 was the year of Pixel Junk Eden and Braid and the indie game movement, and to think that there was no innovation here is just like retarded. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, John,
that's a forbidden word, but here it's retarded.
Before you leave, 2009 game that has you the most moist.
Exterminate all man animals at will.
You know, there isn't really anything yet.
Really?
Okay.
Fair enough.
Heavy rain.
Yeah, probably that.
Did you grab your crotch as you did that?
Rain.
In fact,
grabbing his crotch makes his voice go lower.
In fact, because there's not been a lot of 09 stuff shown yet. But yeah,
hello,
Heavy
my
Rain.
baby.
Yeah, can Brad say Heavy Rain?
Any chocolate rain voice?
All right.
Could you sing?
Patrick, for you. You can jump in now. Patrick, for you, 2009 game you're most hot for.
I haven't really thought about 2009 too much.
What comes to mind? Like, when you think about 2009,
Uncharted 2, Wii Fit 2.
Wii Fit 2, yes.
I'm actually...
Thanks as always.
Hey, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Happy holidays, John.
I'm actually super excited for Uncharted 2. I'm like right in the middle of Tomb Raider Underworld, like right now, which is like disagree with you, it's like a mediocre game, but like I really enjoy like adventure games, and like so Uncharted 2, like the trailer, like they showed the VGAs was like I thought was fucking amazing. Like I really enjoyed that trailer.
The screens are insane.
You know I'm the choir. I mean, I will try to come up with another game for me by the end of this segment.
I've heard so many people like be like, "Oh, it doesn't show what the game is like." Well, you know what Uncharted's like. I just want to know that it's in a different setting. I want to know it's like in a different environment. Like Uncharted 2 is definitely like off the top of my head, I'm not really sure.
Shane, do you remember when we had Amy Hennig on? And it was like,
she's brilliant. Brilliant.
I really wish Amy Hennig would
blew me away. How she was so.
Well, and like Uncharted,
I was like, wow.
Like Uncharted, go back. It's amazing. Like it's an amazing, really good game.
I wish my 09 game was like a new Soul Reaver game.
Okay.
I think I actually know what I might. Obviously, Uncharted 2 is going to be my choice, but I might have another one by the end of this. We'll get to the end.
I got your choice.
Okay, so who wants to take Patrick's space? We have Jeff. We have Jose. We get someone new in there. We get
so wait, you and I don't get to answer our most
at the end. At the end, we'll do it at the end, just like we did before.
Okay,
just like we did before. Let me see. Let me pick another couple of good questions here. Following on the Sony question, let's do another Sony question because it fits in topically. Luminari asks, whoever is on the crew for the taping, you are in charge of SCEA and PS3. Knowing that you must keep your business solvent, what aggressive steps do you take to resume your market share before your machine is still fighting to compete a probably losing battle, potentially for the next generation hardware? Anyway, it's a very incoherently worded sentence.
If I was
you were in charge of SCA, what do you do?
I would have rewinded a few months and done a really aggressive pack-in deal the way they did. Microsoft has been doing with Kung Fu Panda and Lego Star Wars, Lego Indie, and I would have put better games in my box.
Because Sakamom thinks that that's out value add.
Yeah, I might have even put Little Big Planet in there for free. Or Uncharted. Uncharted isn't free.
Yeah,
Uncharted should be.
I might have gone back in catalog.
I don't know. I think they should have been more aggressive with pack-ins this holiday. But
what would you do going forward?
In March, I would have a price drop.
How much? Everyone's going to say we're all going to say price drop.
50 is the only reasonable price drop. Anything else is suicide.
At this point, they're so far in the hole, though. Just do the suicidal thing just to gain some face back.
Just a lost lead.
Do what Microsoft did last time around. Jumpstart the next generation.
Well, and their other big problem was, I don't think
write it off.
Murdering PS3 to make PS4 is not the right answer. However, they really
it depends on what the PS4 is, though.
I think they dropped the ball with PS2 and PSP in America this year. Like PS2 not being $99, not being heavily marketed, it could have been a real weak competitor.
Are they in a position as a company where they could actually go for a PS4 strategy?
They have one, but they shouldn't. I don't think they should overreact. And
I'm talking longer term here. I'm not saying in March kill the PS3 and launch a new system or anything like that. But I'm saying you need to start that ramp a little bit earlier and come up with something.
But don't you feel doesn't everybody at this table feel that PS3 is still on the upward ramp, whereas 360 may have already peaked?
But is it going to catch it? Is it going to be relevant? Is it ever going to be a system that they can turn a profit on?
I don't know. Looking at Uncharted 2, looking at Killzone, looking at these games for 09, they do look a little better than 360 games. Finally, finally, there's
we're finally at that point.
You can see the difference. We're just there now.
How many people care enough about that difference to go out and buy another console?
How many people know the names Killzone and Uncharted at this point? Those names are not. They don't have the same cachet as
marketing the hell out of them.
God of War has cachet, and among the hardcore, it does. God of War has tons of cachet.
That. Now, I would say we accept that as hardcore game journalists.
God of War has tons of cachet. It really does. And among the intelligentsia, among the nerds who trickle down, when Trico Eco 3, whatever, gets announced, that is a game that nobody's going to have the balls to talk bad about. Really. I'll rue the day when someone goes, that game looks like shit. Come on,
but
really?
Is that game going to break 1.5 million even?
Shadow of the Colossus has sold over 1 million copies in America.
All right.
Upon its initial release.
So this will sell exactly that and change nothing.
On a console that had a significantly stronger install base and really had the zeitgeist of that era.
There's no one game changer, and to expect that is insane. To expect one game to suddenly turn the tide.
Brad, you're running SCEA. What do you do?
Oh my God.
First choice.
Lots of parties.
Price drop would be great, but it's hard to say without knowing the ins and outs of what the production overhead is on the hardware.
I know. Give your gut response.
Oh man, I honestly, I still feel like the price is the big barrier to entry. I mean, like Microsoft is undercutting Nintendo at this point.
Right. There's really no lack of first party exclusives on PS3. I think they're doing a better job as a first party than Microsoft and possibly Nintendo.
They always have,
but I think you have third party isn't just not there. I mean,
they need
it's hard to program for.
If you're running SCA, you have to go to the hardware team and you have to say, you know what. We need a piece of hardware that we can reasonably sell for $100 less, at least $100 less, at the very minimum $100 less, maybe $150 less.
And then set the tools team free and say this needs to be the easiest system to develop for the next 10 years.
So here's a question: How about an early PS3 Slimline? I mean, remember when they scaled the PS2 down?
I think a redesign.
I will say
you need a reboot. You need a full hard reboot.
Yeah, at this point, PS3 will not be a real mass market console until the Slimline version.
And so what features do you cut from the PS3 to make it smaller and make it cheaper?
That's a damn question.
What do you pull out of there? Because Turl.
I give the orders. Do you understand?
I think it's a damn. What
the man's got a point.
Pull out the UMD. You add a hard drive.
You pull out the UMD. There's no UMD on the PS3.
There's no UMD in there.
You're on PSP. Like, Jose's like, I don't know.
Turl told us that question's over.
Oh, come on.
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
PSP
that might be worthy of a little continuation.
They already started.
Sony execs were waiting with bated breath for what we had to say. Now they're pissed.
And I still
they'll have to pay the consulting fee if they want the rest.
I still think Home is a pull the plug project.
Oh, Home.
They'd lose too much face. They can't back out on that.
Why would they lose face?
Because they've spent so much long saying this is the future.
But Garnet, don't you see how ridiculous it is? Like, pull the plug has been out for a week. I don't like it. I'm gonna leave.
Like, it's dumb.
It hasn't been out for a week. We've been watching it for a long time, and it's a beta product. And you say, you know what? We ran the beta on this, and it's not giving us what we wanted out of it.
That'd be like so 8 days after launching Xbox Live. Yeah, this thing isn't so good. Let's kill it.
Can I interrupt and ask a question about Home? Okay, so like I just learned this past week that Home was in fact like actually the sort of the brainchild of Phil Harrison. Is that correct?
It's his legacy.
So I mean, what went down in terms of his departure and the direction that Home went in? I mean, was it that he was taking it in a direction the rest of Sony did not like,
or was Sony just like turning into this huge marketing focused thing? And he's like, look, no one's going to do this.
Like Sony was corralling it in a direction that like he was not happy with.
I think at the same time it was seen as a huge resource drain.
And can they pin that on him and like divest themselves of it?
I think. What do you mean? Can they? I think they will.
Okay.
I think they will. I think they will. I mean, maybe not in a nasty sort of like soap opera kind of way, but I think that gives them their escape.
Sony, the big Japanese company, will not back down from this. They will not kill Home.
They don't lose face.
That's a good point.
You don't lose face.
You can't lose face. Depends, but they are being run by Sir Howard Stringer now. So
true, but there's still just enough. There's enough of that going on. There's enough of that mentality that Home will be on the next Sony console.
Okay, so I will back up and go and give us a chance to talk about this a little more because we had several variations on this question. Warren G83 asked,
The Warren G,
Brad.
He wants it all. He's handy with the steel, if you know what I mean. He earns his keep.
Just hit the west side? The LBC?
Oh, my God.
Sorry, I flubbed the line.
The man who knows the word.
I know every word. I know every line to that song, and I picked the wrong one. Sad.
Do you think any of the big three should officially announce that they have a new console in the works? Who, why, or why not?
DS2, does that count? No.
DS2 does. Well, DSi is already.
DSi does not count.
Yeah, no.
I mean, a real successor.
That's
what I think. That is the most likely console to be announced or rumored in 2009.
I'm going to backtrack on this because I actually said like this is the year I honestly thought that Microsoft would drop the announce of their next machine.
They're still doing so well.
There's
no reason.
Now,
like it's obviously in the works.
It's obviously in the works, but now they won't because it would actually be detrimental to where they are to say anything now.
They don't need to leapfrog the competition the way they did the first time.
Right.
Yeah, they really don't. I mean, I think what they'll do is they'll actually go back on the internal side and they'll say, okay, what do we need to do to make sure that the next Xbox is the top is not the Xbox 360 versus the PS3, but is the PS3 and runs the market.
Well, this year at E3, it was clear that they're trying to transition 360 into a Wii competitor, and it isn't completely taking exactly yet, but they have another year or two to do it.
Yeah.
I think they're just adding that element to its repertoire.
No, the fact that
it's a bullet point for parents or something like that. They're like, well, I was going to buy this thing anyway, and if I can get these games, they don't know if they're going to be any good or not.
Packing 2 kids games in with every 360 this fall, you don't think that's a stab at Wii? You really don't?
I think it is, but
it's the perception is that 360 is for adults who want to shoot people.
I don't think they're super serious about it. Otherwise, they would have more and better games along those lines. They're just putting that out there to try and confuse people and say, like, well, I can't get a Wii, I can't find one. But this 360, this has this stuff that it's probably the same. And then they get it, and they're going to end up disappointed, but they already got the system, so whatever.
So you don't think we're going to see more first-party Wii-style games?
They will keep stabbing at it.
I think they will. I think it's a good decision.
But I don't think they'll ever take it as seriously as Nintendo does.
So I have a question for you guys about the next Xbox. Based on an argument that we've been having in the office, what kind of optical drive is in the next Xbox?
That's the question. Because, do they want to pay the Blu-ray consortium?
It has to be a Blu-ray. It has to be a Blu-ray.
It can't be DVD. It really can't be DVD.
Absolutely
it either has to be DVD or they have to go so crazy that it's like it doesn't have.
If it's download only. Okay, it's download only.
Wait. The next Xbox is a MacBook Air.
No,
you're saying it's a MacBook Air.
Here's the only other option.
It has to have a drive because GameStop would fucking kill them.
I can't even say it. I was like so amazed. I'm like, dude, they have to have drive.
Here's the only other crazy.
If there was one company that was going to be that fucking buck wild and just totally disrupt everything, Like, it'd be Microsoft. That Bill Gates' book that he put out like 15 years ago was like the digital era. We're not going to have all these discs, whatever. This book won't exist. Like, this is the dream they've been trying to live for so long that, like, if they see that they can reach out and grab it and usurp all that retail bullshit.
Well, and I think if they can postpone to 2011, then that's much more feasible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a bandwidth thing. There's a lot of things that have to catch up. But I'm sure they would love to do that.
I think they've successfully postponed to 2011.
I think fall 2010 is still a possibility, depending on what happens.
It depends on what
depending on what happens in 09.
Depends on what Sony does.
And what Nintendo does. I think depending on where we are a year from now,
we know
everything's up in the air.
I wish John was here because he had that rumor about the HD Wii, and I think that's a very, very, very likely potential is that there'll be an HD Wii refresh, and it will be a Wii refresh. It'll be exactly like they've done with their handheld units, except now they'll carry it over to their home console.
But like, who does that benefit? Like, can they make games? I mean, if they're like upscanning games to 1080i or 1080p, like, who cares? That doesn't look any better. And they're not going to split the market, Sega CD style and start putting out HD Wii games.
Oh, God.
X32.
That's the first intelligent thing you've said yet.
Thank you.
Exactly. That's what I agree with.
I have many more to choose from here. Where should I go next?
Come on, guys. Pick a good one.
Something not hardware related, maybe?
Fiendishdude.oneup.com says Heavy Rain, possibly coming next year, is trying...
It's coming in fall 2009.
It's trying even harder.
Heavy Rain.
I hate the fact that you can do it.
Oh, yeah. Heavy Rain. Do you know how easy it is?
It just comes out like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she said.
All right.
Is trying even harder to achieve the seemingly impossible task of creating the interactive movie. As story, presentation, and immersion become more important to games than just graphics. In fact, they couple with the graphics instead of falling to the wayside. Do you think there will be a day when a person can experience as wide a variety of emotions in a video game as they can when watching a film, reading a book, or listening to music? Or is it too difficult to break down the player's logical mindset of how do I win or which choice is best?
I think this. Yes.
You know what? I think you have to. I think you have to abolish that notion of which one is best and replace it with a notion of like, which one do I feel? Like, what does my gut say? You got to stop weighing like the value of one option versus the other.
And I would say that I've had more compelling narrative experiences playing video games than I've had watching films or reading books. I have already had them, and I think you can go further.
Sure.
So, yes, of course. And Heavy Rain, I think, is really cool because it's trying to reach adults with a mature narrative that, most games aren't trying to do.
As a man who's only barely an adult.
You are young.
I am this man-child, this freakish man-child. Heavy Rain, just I don't get it, man.
You don't get it?
Whatever. It's just like, whatever.
Did you
she
get
can
Fahrenheit?
cry really well. Like, oh man, no way. Like,
are you a Fahrenheit fan?
No, not especially.
Okay.
Like, I thought it was neat, but like I think Heavy Rain is neat, but it's not like. That doesn't look like huge compelling thing.
But if the story is really good and the acting's really good, believe it.
Then that would help. But I'd rather see that put into like a better game.
I mean,
like those concepts, take them and apply them to
with
the
more
best of gaming.
real gameplay.
Listen,
exactly.
Like part of the problem for me of trying to evoke emotion with video games is that you're always working with computer people. And your computer people are only as good as your animators, and your animators are never as good as real actors.
Every performance in Heavy Rain is a person's face that has been scanned while they're saying those lines and having
Still
those
not as effective. Still not as effective.
as watching real people.
Not as effective. Like, that was part of the
Night
problem.
Trap 2. That's the answer.
There you go. There you go.
I do love it.
Someone get Dana Plato on the phone.
She's fucking dead, bro.
I know.
Like, part of the problem I had with GTA 4, like we were talking about today, like as mature as that narrative is, as far ahead as that storytelling is from like practically every other game on the market, like the people in the cutscenes still have like kind of dead eyes.
But that game got me in a couple of spots. There were moments in that game that were like very emotional where I had to stop playing, and some of them I think were like it's always going to be specific to the player. Like when I encountered the girl who was like the strung out meth fiend. It's like this weird cutscene that's like kind of a throwaway thing, but hit a little close to home with some girls I've known. That's true. And I was like, fuck.
Well,
but Brad, I'll tell you, when I was at Quantic Dreams,
those MILFs are terrible like that.
Right, Brad, when I was at Quantic Dreams seeing Heavy Rain, they showed us a bunch of characters, and like one of the heads they showed us looked real. And they really looked like a real person. I was like, fuck, that's the closest anybody's gotten yet.
But like,
I think that's
reality is a
component.
weak goal. Like, is that what we want? Like, real life is all around us. I don't want to sit there and look at it on a TV. Give me,
fantasy?
Yeah, I want a fantasy, baby.
You want to be fucking Dana Plato?
Yes. Yes.
You ever see the episode where she dyes her hair green? That's a good one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. I think Jose's going to get in for the last two questions. Who's going to give up a seat for Jose? You guys between the giant bomb guys when you draw
fist
straws.
Fighting, what are we doing here? That's he's reaching for it. What do you want to do?
All right,
Standoff.
I'll go.
Mexican
All right,
standoff.
so before you go, if you're going to go, you have to tell me what 2009 game is
Moistest.
making you moist.
Oh, dude.
And I tell you, it's not wet.
Is that still coming out?
By A2M.
I didn't even know that was...
By ass to mouth interaction.
A2M always makes me wet.
You know what? I got to say, don't go A2M. It's not good.
You know what? Oh, man, I hate to say this.
Why?
But before last night, I probably would have said RE5. But now I'm kind of.
I gotta shake your hand, Brad Shoemaker.
Are we all shaking on RE5?
We're on the RE5 disappointment
as
train.
Shane and I are slapping some skin here. Like
let me throw in on the dude whatever.
The opposite.
I'm not going that far. I'm not going that far, but I'm kind of on board with your RE 4.5 thing.
I'm still stoked. I look forward to playing.
I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to play it.
That shit ain't game of the year.
But like the control scheme is still enough in the past that I'm not sure that like. I don't know. Like I feel like the world has moved on to the point where, like, you know, if it's not gear style controls, like I can't get down with it.
I always thought you were a smart guy, bro.
I'm not sure at this point.
So, what game are you excited about?
Oh man, well, it's only been 12 hours since I shed my last one, so God, what's coming out next year? Like, rattle off some stuff.
Halo STD.
Definitely not. Definitely not that one.
Not Halo STD.
Tony Hawk, dude.
Definitely looking forward to seeing how Killzone turns out, but.
That's
another game where the controls are suspect.
That's in February, and that'll be forgotten in the year.
Like, I hate to say this, but like, could every game play like Halo or Gears at this point? I mean, like, I kind of feel like
control scheme.
I kind of feel like those controls have been perfected. Like, we know how that works. You're used to it. It works.
I would
sublimely.
say Gears and Call of Duty. Instead of Gears.
But Brad,
and
you
Halo,
have to pick a game. You really have to
pick a game.
There's got to be
something you're excited about.
Well, then by default, I'm just going to go with RE5 then.
All right.
Because I can't think of
Infinity Ward's next project.
I don't know enough about that to get
Call of Duty in space.
If it's
Call of Duty post-modern warfare.
If it was Call of Duty another time period, I'd be super excited. If it's like, you know, pick up like 5 minutes after the end of Modern Warfare.
How about a Brutal Legend or Uncharted 2 or
Uncharted 2?
I am moderately excited about all of those games.
Prototype?
I have not seen enough of any of them to be like
Prototype?
jumping out of my chair. Another one.
Wii Fit 2
sounds okay.
Ghostbusters?
Yeah, you know,
Wii Sports 2.
I've already got some holiday pounds I need to shed, so yes, Wii Fit 2.
There you
go. All right, we're taking RE5 from you. It's
all right.
Not a very strong recommendation.
I can live with that.
Wow, dude, wait.
Dude, you know what? Every holiday that I go home, like as of this past Thanksgiving 3 weeks ago, my cousin and I play the Mercenaries mode in RE4. Like
true.
we've graduated.
Mercenaries is awesome.
We've graduated to the Wii version from the GameCube in the last like year and a half, but we still play that game every year.
Co-op online Mercenaries will be awesome. It's true.
Yeah. Can't wait. All right. All right. I'll sign off with that.
Last two 2009 questions are going to.
We're not making Jeff stay.
No, Jeff's staying.
I got mine, man.
He's got yours. Jose is now with us. Bring the mic in.
I missed you guys.
You're back. You're back for the closer roll.
Thanks, man.
All right, here we go.
Are you in with the closer roll? Okay.
I'm down.
So
the roll.
I'm saving that one for last. We already talked about that shit. You guys wrote some good questions. I think we covered a lot of this stuff.
We can always cover more.
We do talk a lot here.
There's a lot of talking.
We do. Oh, how about this one? This one is from Kurt Kless.
Kurt Cameron.
He says,
Valve says Bible Man. What's up with that? Bible Man the game.
What's up with that?
He's like, Left Behind? Great.
Valve has gotten it right with Steam, and it's even better now with mod support. What do you think of the idea of Valve selling us a Steam box? Not a console per se, but a PC that's made specifically for gaming with the Steam OS. It comes preloaded with Steam and some sort of subscription service that gives you access to all the games they have up, like the Xbox Live Arcade, but one fee for access to everything, like GameFly or Netflix subscription. They could design it specifically for games. They try to keeping the cost down by eliminating parts and software that other PCs use that are not directly tied to gaming. I'd buy that, and with Valve's track record, I think a lot of other people would as well.
I have a feeling that Steve Ballmer and his friends at Microsoft might not think too kindly of this Steam box.
This whole Steam box. Well,
Steam box?
It's funny because Vic my co-host on Reviews on the Run, also Electric Playground, big head honcho.
Available where hold on, giantbomb.com, is that where you can get that?
Giantbomb.com, you can check that out.
You can check out
Store.giantbomb.com. Check out some t-shirts.
Yeah, electplay.com, we have all the exclusives.
That hoodie you're wearing is quite fetching.
Well, it's for sale. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah,
Store.giantbomb.com.
How come I get a fucking t-shirt and you're rocking that goddamn awesome?
Because we sold all
That is pretty
these.
snazzy. It's got the hoodie.
You had an answer, Jose?
They all sold out.
Yeah, I thought I did.
Somewhere in
but,
there.
All right.
Yeah, I don't even remember the question, but
Steambox.
Steam, yeah. Oh, well, because Victor's got the new MacBook, and he's just like, oh my god, it's so amazing. Like I put all my games on it, and it runs so sexy.
A lot of people
I
said
love
that.
Steam. Like Steam is money. They just released the Rockstar pack, where you can get all the Rockstar games for like $20. You get like Grand Theft Auto 3 and 2 and 1 and like 4 and San Andreas and like all the it's like why not? It's amazing.
So you're down with this? You think they could do a Steam box?
I think Steam is doing a great thing with online gaming, and the way they have their setup where you can like bring it from PC to PC.
Phantom says hi.
Hello,
seriously,
Phantom.
For sure.
Phantom says hi. Like what this guy's
What's a lap board?
It's going to revolutionize the way we play games.
It's going to change my life. It's going to be so amazing. No, but I mean, like, good for Steam for what they're doing and the product they're putting out. And it's making it like it's good. It's fun to play games online.
PC games are way too crazy to have one box that fits all these different consumers. They're like, look at what the requirements are just for GTA 4 alone. They're like astronomical. Like, am I going to have to like upgrade my Steam box every 6 months just so I can continue to play the games that are coming out on it? No one wants to go through that. The people that are playing PC games are the people that are serious about it with Steam.
You know who
they're going to bust open their boxes and go through the
Valve least wants to go through that. The last thing Valve wants to do is put some sort of hardware restriction on what can be on Steam.
They just want to hang out and collect their licensing fees and
they're doing a good job at it.
And that's the business side of it. But on the gamer side of it, the beauty of Steam is that they can offer everything from what's that tower defense? What's that game that Chuff is playing? It's a tower defense clone, but it's like all pretty dumb.
I don't know.
Not the Field Runners. That's the iPhone.
But it's really nice. It's really cool. So they can go from that to casual games.
So does Microsoft
to Half-Life 2 Episode 2?
Should Microsoft buy Valve?
Well, that was another question. That question was in here, and
I think they should.
That's big time.
I would
pull that off.
I would rather they didn't, but it's not a bad move.
Valve did a better job with Steam than Xbox Live PC or whatever it's called.
The question is, could they?
Windows Live.
But the question is, could they? And I don't think Gabe or I don't think Valve would sell.
They started putting out like all those numbers about how much money they were spending on marketing Left 4 Dead and all that stuff, which normally like public companies are the only ones that do that to show how big they are and all. So it's like you wonder, like, as they're putting out these weird, more kind of business side things, if they're thinking like we want to attract some interest in how awesome we are, so someone will come in and buy us.
Do you think so? Really? I mean, I think maybe they were sort of fending it off even and saying
maybe, but
we're bigger than that.
At the same time, those guys have been at that for a long time. At some point, duty calls, family calls. You want to change. Maybe some of them want to cash out.
I don't know. I don't see a Steam box because for them, there's no reason to get into the hardware game. The hardware game is a whole nightmare of support and restrictions,
and they're doing good from what they're doing now.
They're doing a great job with what they're doing. Stick to what they're doing. There'll be more emphasis on community and community tie-ins and bringing that whole community together.
But they should put out a lap board, Valve lap board,
Valve lap board.
You wouldn't last one day at the academy.
Exactly. I mean, you wouldn't last a day at the academy. That's just how it works.
All right. Final question comes from Little Black Butts and Dick.
What?
Wait a minute.
Excuse me. Did I just hear Little Black Butts and Dick?
Was it was Little Black
that's what I
Butts
heard.
and Dick, or was it Little Black Butts in Dick? Because it's like,
see, I like big butts.
It's the day after Christmas.
and I cannot lie.
Like big butts.
I will not lie about this. Not to you.
You other guys in here can't deny.
You can't deny my love of big butts.
It is the day after Christ's birthday, and there are children listening to this.
There are children listening, and
if a girl walked into this room right now with an itty-bitty waist
and a round thing in my face,
I would get sprung, sir.
And I'd pull out my tongue.
I heard your anaconda. It doesn't want none.
It does not want any.
Unless you've got buns, hon.
Patrick's offended. All right. Garnet, what is this final question you have?
I apologize. Where is this going? I don't know, but hey, you got to get the WAs.
Gold Club, let's
Garnet.
go.
It's around the corner.
Bringing it home.
Let's read that question from Big Black Butts and Dick. Whatever.
Little Black Butts and Dick. Little Black Butts and Dick. Bring it home with a list of predictions I want you guys to comment on, or rather a list of options, and I want you to predict outcomes. Here they go. When will we see Crytek do a console game?
In 2011.
I think sooner. I think 2010.
Yeah, 2010.
I will go with I think it'll be announced. I think Crytek's console game announced next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Comes out in 2010.
It'll be announced in 2009.
Comes out
shipping
2010.
2010.
Will Treyarch make another Call of Duty game? It's obvious Infinity Ward is not happy with that arrangement at all.
Well, it's not their call, so yes.
They'll merge with Sega and do Call of Duty Universe at War. No?
Wow, that was left field.
All right.
I think they'll be forced to make Spider-Man games.
There's no reason they can't do both.
Exactly.
Why does it have to be Treyarch? It'll be somebody else. It'll be another Activision company. Will there be more Call of Duties that aren't Infinity Ward? Yes. Will it be another one from Treyarch? I don't know. I'm not so sure.
Treyarch's already really good at working with Infinity Ward's tech. Why not?
Sure. Why not?
Maybe they'll make another. That's good.
Merge it.
But
Quantum of Solace, come on. Come on.
You like
Infinity
that?
Ward's going to work on StarCraft Ghost.
Oh, my God. Infinity Ward finishing StarCraft Ghost.
Let Treyarch take the engine and make Call of Duty games.
Wow. Infinity Ward finishing. Brad, right there.
Right.
Best fucking option. I agree with this. When will Mass Effect 2 come out? Will Mass Effect 3 be on this generation?
No.
You think they'll quietly just kind of forget about Mass Effect?
Yeah.
Why should they? I mean, that game didn't tank, right?
There's a Mass Effect shirt right here.
Mass Effect.
See? That's a shirt.
Mass
They
Effect
made
was
shirts.
good
They have to
times.
make a sequel.
Mass
And
Effect
they have
was no
shirts
two
with
humans.
N7s, you know?
And 8 has to come.
Yeah. Mass Effect 2 will be on this generation. Mass Effect 3 won't. Definitely.
Exactly.
There's
Will
no way-
Mass Effect be a Microsoft published title? Or will it be an EA published title?
EA.
definitely.
Will it be multi-platform?
Yes.
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
If you consider the 360 and PC multi-platform.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you'll increasingly see that, and I'm not convinced that now that they have the time to delay things, I'm not convinced that the next Microsoft console won't be just the same part and parcel as some sort of gaming PC interface with their OS.
That's up to Microsoft.
Will there
find that out.
always be a Guitar Hero and Rock Band, or
Yes.
will one take over the other?
No.
In the year 2023, EA and Activision merge.
Yeah.
And they become Rock Hero. And it's just the greatest accomplishment.
It's the best crack dealing sim in the world. I want to be a rock hero.
But by the year 2027, Konami's Rock Revolution ascends to no.
Covers come back into vogue,
All
and
right.
all these master tracks.
All right,
It's going to be
silliness.
amazing.
Guitar Hero over milks it next year. Gets too nitpicky with their individual band things.
And they can't handle Jazz Hero with Jazzflute
while
and saxophone.
While Rock Band continues to develop as a platform and really work on their downloadable content side, and I think Rock Band secures the throne that they took from Guitar Hero last year.
Yeah, but at the same time, don't you feel like Activision's kind of salting the earth and hurting Rock Band with just by crapping out all these music games?
No, I don't, because I think there's enough of the groundswell support for Harmonix behind, from us, from the enthusiast press that says Harmonix were the guys who were behind this in the first place. They're Rock Band, Activision screwing it, and that's the end of that.
Garnet, I mean, I don't know if you heard this, but have you heard that Pearl Jam's album 10 is going to be exclusive downloadable content in March for Rock Band?
Dude, but when you see when you see the sales for Guitar Hero Metallica, Guitar Hero Sticks,
Guitar Hero Sticks,
Guitar Hero Winger,
Guitar Hero
with white teeth,
Guitar Hero Striper.
I think it's
only
Guitar Hero Def Leppard. It's going to be great.
I think it's going to depend on how the Beatles game does. That's going to be the game that's going to shape how this stuff's going to happen once everything is mature and established as platforms.
I will buy that game.
Yeah,
depends on what the Beatable game becomes.
I will buy it no matter what.
When will Huxley be canceled?
Wasn't it already?
Yeah.
Come on, seriously?
You mean when will they tell us that Huxley's been canceled?
Huxley is vaporware.
It's in beta in Korea.
It's in beta in Korea. It's not going
That's
to make
canceled.
it to the States.
That actually qualifies as canceled.
not going to make it.
Beta in Korea.
I don't think it'll come to consoles in America at all.
I think we already answered the next question, which was, will Microsoft ever buy Valve?
They should.
For $17.
It would be an interesting move for them, and no.
Not for sale.
Not for sale.
I don't think Valve wants to be sold, but I think Microsoft should try.
And last but not least, when will Wii's stop selling out?
When
a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Really?
No, it's you can sell your Wii right now on eBay for lots of money.
Sure.
Holiday Rush, it's still big, but February.
But when,
I think the big question should be, when will the next Wii game that is the one to purchase comes out? What do you, I mean, like honestly,
I will say,
what can you think of the next big Wii game?
I am a Wii hater numero uno, but I will purchase Wii Sports Summer
For sure,
whatever it's called, because I love Wii Sports.
And they'll Trojan horse the Motion Plus in with that thing, so you'll get one of those stupid.
And there'll be a
things.
new Zelda that I want to play, and there'll be a new Mario.
Hopefully,
yeah, but
they're so tight knit at Nintendo.
So conservative, so overly conservative. As I've said before, if I was Mr. Iwata, you would have seen literally like 20 different Nintendogs.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Exactly.
Why
That's
not?
what makes the money. And especially with games like Heavy Rain for PlayStation 3, when it's like, they've been showing us that for years. Like, Nintendo, show us Zelda that's coming in 3 years. I don't care. Show me a little bit now. I'll take it.
Last time they did that, though, they showed off mature Link and then put out Wind Waker and pissed off all these jerks.
Exactly.
It's true.
Look at Link. He's old. He's modern. Here's him as a cartoonish child with a wolf.
Although I will say,
sad day. Sad day.
With all
Whatever. If you were talking mess about Wind Waker, we're going to go outside and fight.
I will say, with all the
Wind Waker was good times.
with all the overpriced GameCube re-releases coming to Wii in 2009, at least put Wind Waker out with the 2 dungeons you cut. I'll buy that shit for full price.
Yeah, exactly.
Full price.
As DLC.
Why do you have to tell them that?
$32.99. I'll buy it full price right now.
Whatever.
$37.
The Klonoa remake. Whatever. Done. Good. I'm in.
Even if they turn him into like a Poochie character for America or whatever.
Link's going to turn into a poodle in the next game. Is what I
that
heard.
would be worth watching to see how bad they screw him up. I would still play that game.
That's what I heard.
Poodle Maker?
Poodle Maker. That's what I heard.
Imagine poodles with
Poodle
a Z.
Maker.
All right, let's bring it home.
Bring it home and PlayStation 3? I don't want to do that. That's just bad. No one's going to download
You can get a BJ though, dude. Free BJs.
I just do the robot. That's all I do at home. I watch Twilight trailers and do the robot. That's all I've done at home.
While receiving a BJ.
It's true. I'm just like, yeah, there you go.
It's like any given weekend at America's community colleges. Anyway, 2009 game that makes you moist, Jose.
Makes me moist? Wow.
And
I don't even know.
Wet is not an option.
Wet's not an option, even though I heard about that game 2 years ago from Sierra. It was great. I can't wait. But I don't know. Hopefully Heavy Rain delivers on the sexiness that I've heard about on this very show.
It has
one
a
of yours.
lot of precipitation involved.
That's exactly. I mean, there's a lot of wetness involved in that game because it's called Heavy Rain.
I will say, when I went to see it in France, it was the best looking game I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
As I heard on the One Up Your show 2 weeks ago, I was just like, yes.
You listen to this shit.
I do. I do listen to the show that I follow. That's just how I roll.
We're sorry.
But I heard there was realism involved, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about realism in games, and if it makes it look like, if you can see a guy who looks real and it just blows your mind, then yes, that's what I want to see in games.
All right.
I want to take it a level realer. I want them to cancel Heavy Rain and put out a game based on the movie Hard Rain. You get the most realistic Christian Slater in the world. And we just want the money. And then, hear me out on this. The most realistic rain you've ever seen in a video. And it's never not raining. It is never not raining in Hard Rain.
Ding, 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 ding. Winner.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be near term and say Bionic Commando. I'm very excited about
right now.
Did you go to the event last night?
Right now, you know what do I hear? I hear Ben Judd masturbating furiously.
Well, I mean, how is that different from any other time?
Remember when all three of us were in his hotel room?
Yeah.
All three, like several months ago, all three of us were in his hotel room where he was masturbating.
Where he was masturbating furiously. We interviewed him while he was wearing a robe and nothing else.
I will say that game does look really good. And it's kind of being overlooked because it's been kind of oversaturated. I feel like I've seen it too many times.
Right. I think they'll give it some time to breathe, and when they put it out, I think I think it'll be really exciting. The swing mechanics are so much fun.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Shane.
For 2009?
2009. What are you looking
my
forward to?
most anticipated title for the year 2009 is Final Fantasy 13 for the PlayStation 3.
For the PlayStation 3, not the Xbox.
That's the only platform it'll be available for in the year 2009. I'll be playing it. I'll be playing it in 3 months. And just today in Jump, there were some scans from the demo, and it looks oh my god amazing.
It does look oh my god.
I also want to give a shout out to BioShock 2.
I hear it's looking really good.
You know what I mean? I mean, good for the VGAs for last year. It was like, yes, BioShock it could be a game worth playing.
Well, of course
sure enough
it
was.
could. I mean,
and there was no love in the VGAs this year for BioShock 2.
How much material do they have to
They
buy?
gave all the love to
the fact
Brutal Legend.
Okay, the fact that 2 isn't being made by the same team, I think people are kind of against it. But those guys are hungry, and I've heard the idea. The concept's really strong.
Yeah,
Very strong.
I have and Rock Band 3 because you know it's coming.
Why would they? No, man. That's
Beatles.
They only put out
Beatles.
Rock Band 2 because they had to respond to Activision. Now they've got their platform
Just like
established.
advance
no
the
Rock
platform.
Band 3. Exactly.
Evolve the platform.
DLC.
That's on my list of notes. More Rock Band 2 DLC. I'm not even gonna lie.
There you go.
And something amazing from Nintendo that I haven't heard about.
Jose
because
made notes.
I did.
I know.
I was just like, I was going to be efficient.
What else you got on your notes?
I have a Ghostbusters. I can't wait to see how that turns out.
I'm impressed.
Alan Wake. Hopefully it comes out.
That's not a game.
Wait, hold on. Now, why do people think that Alan Wake is not a game?
I'm holding a candle for Alan Wake, and I believe it is real, and it
Yeah,
really is coming
it is
out.
right.
And what I've heard is because those guys own the IP and own their own company, that they aren't constricted by like the what the landmarks, what do they call them? Milestones you have to make.
You're right. That's absolutely. I've heard.
And that's why it's taking so fucking long.
Yeah.
But why? So why, Jeff? Why do people say?
When was they haven't showed enough of it? It's just one of those games that's like I think it's falling into that weird Duke Nukem Forever thing where it's like it's just taken so damn long.
You're comparing 3 years to a decade.
Wait, yeah. How come no one's named?
They basically mean the
Garnet,
same thing.
are you about to name Duke Nukem Forever as your most anticipated game of 2009?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. You know
That
what?
would be amazing.
If Duke Nukem manages to come out and even make a blip, then God bless him. I mean, there are a lot of people there working very hard on that game, and there are a lot of people who've been ground to dust under its gears.
I hear Buckethead made like 3 of the levels.
Let there be light.
Is it morning and the sun just come up?
I think
our light just came on here.
I think so.
We've been podcasting in the dark for like an hour and a half.
What else do you have on your little list?
Infamous. I can't wait.
Infamous. Okay, I think Infamous is going to be this year's Crackdown, and it's going to take a lot of people by surprise, and it's going to be awesome.
Because I saw it
not
Palm
Prototype.
Springs a year ago, and it
not Prototype.
Infamous will be better than Prototype.
I did. Yeah, that was the one I saw. Palm Springs. I'm not gonna lie. Prototype was. I mean,
I agree with you that Infamous will overtake Prototype, and I think it's kind of a shame because at one point in time, Prototype had a lot of momentum.
Yeah, if it had come out in like July,
and it should have. And what happened? I mean, it got definitely. It was probably the one title that got hurt the most by the Vivendi collapse and the way that went down with Activision.
I mean, they were having like big parties for that, like back at GDC. Like, Prototype,
and it looked great,
man.
It looked great.
It did.
I mean, and Ghostbusters as well. You know, it was one of the big games coming from Sierra. Now it's like picked up by Atari, so it's like,
well, okay. The other scary thing in 2009, we've seen a lot of publishers collapse and crumble, and who knows who's next. But it's kind of a scary time.
The trough will continue through the market.
It's a scary time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to collapse.
I know. Like another game I can't wait to see: Batman: Arkham Asylum. Hopefully, it's
looking better and better.
I know. Hopefully, it's the Batman game that
we all want.
That we wanted of Spider-Man 2 on the Xbox. Hopefully, this is the Batman game that brings Batman to his glory in video gamedom.
Part of
like Spider-Man
a powerful
2 did.
IDOS lineup.
Yeah, you know,
for next year, Kane Lynch 2.
Does it have a Prince soundtrack?
I know you're
key.
a big fan.
Does it?
Well, I really like the first one.
Prince soundtrack for a Batman.
Actually,
game.
I'm very.
That would be
interested in
Heavy
seeing.
Rain, Purple Rain. We could do a collaboration.
Heavy Purple Rain.
Heavy Rain, Heavy Rain.
There you go.
I was about to sing all of Bat Dance, but now I'm not.
Under the Cherry Moon, Quantic Dream's next game. There you go.
Heavy Purple Rain would be awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Watchmen trailer that we saw?
The game?
Yeah. Grin, those guys.
Okay, I can be honest. I think it's episodic because it wasn't finished. And it's a boring brawler and it won't be any good.
It's downloadable. Like I just don't think that.
Interesting.
And I fucking love Watchmen.
Interesting.
So
to
do
be
I.
honest.
Best comic book story ever written.
I agree.
That it will be nicely butchered in video game form.
It will be. I think. Hopefully. I hope not. UFC 2009.
Oh, come on. Next.
UFC is huge. It's bigger than wrestling. It's bigger than boxing.
That game looked okay at E3. I don't know. I haven't seen it since, but looked like it could be.
He's
something.
wearing a Randy Couture shirt.
I'm wearing Quentin Rampage Jackson. He's one of the best interviews I did this year. Cool guy, awesome guy. I hope the game succeeds.
You know, I'm jealous of him. You know why I'm jealous of him?
Why?
He's fucking biling.
Yeah, good for him.
Good for him.
He is. He's
argument.
He's
Merry Christmas.
He's doing it in the red corner right now.
And he drove his Bronco like on the wrong way through traffic and got away.
It's
Anyway.
true. He ran a few people down.
What are you going to stop him?
I'm not gonna stop him.
How you gonna stop a guy named Rampage? But I mean, like,
Bad motherfucker.
I mean, the game looks good as a fighting game, and hopefully they can take it to the next level.
Who's
As the
making
other
it? Is Aki
THQ.
making it? Or THQ. Who's developing?
Wait, what studio?
I think it's Ukes.
Oh, it's Ukes. Okay.
I think so.
SmackDown people.
Yeah.
THQ.
That would be really bad.
I thought maybe it was. I thought maybe it was Aki.
It might be Aki.
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
even sure.
Actually, the redesign of the game does look good.
It does. I mean,
Did you name your game yet, Garnet?
No,
Or was it Duke?
I'm
It was
gonna
Duke
finish.
Nukem. It was Duke Nukem. Okay,
Right.
Duke Nukem Forever.
What was there was an
Duke Nukem
Aki
Forever.
game that like just got announced or unveiled or something like that Aki was developing.
I thought it was UFC.
What the hell was
actually.
it?
Maybe,
It might be. I'm not
Maybe.
100% sure, but I mean,
So,
I
number
hope that
2,
game pulls out.
Garnet,
and does
Wait,
awesome.
hold on, let him finish.
Oh,
his
he's got
list.
more lists.
No, that was pretty much it. Street
it?
Fighter 4, Guitar Hero Universe.
So,
That's what
Guitar
I'm.
Hero Universe.
Yeah, I mean they did.
You
World
making
Tour.
shit up?
I am. There's a whole lot of
Lips
made-up shit in
2.
here. Lips 2.
Marvel versus Mario.
Street Fighter
This
versus
gets
Mortal
angry.
Kombat. Heard it here first.
next iteration on Viva Pinata.
Yeah.
So you actually took Final Fantasy.
No,
from me,
I
and-
didn't take Final Fantasy from you.
Yeah, you. Dude, I was surprised. Like it took that long to get to Final Fantasy. How does it take that long to get to Final Fantasy? The shit looks
Because
amazing.
it's been Final Fantasy for 12 years.
Yeah, when you announced it 5 years ago, you tend to forget about it.
It looks amazing. It looks so good.
It will be.
What Final Fantasies look crappy though?
None
when
of
you
them.
first see it. When you first see it, you're like,
No
"Damn, that
interest.
looks kind
Zero.
of good.
11.
Oh, Jeff, come on, dude.
0, dude.
What was
Zero?
12
Not a fan?
not super satisfying?
Didn't play it.
11. When I
But
saw
you don't like Japanese RPGs.
Jose,
I did for a very long time.
But you don't anymore.
Yeah, I played 7, got to the
fair.
snowboarding part, and went, dude,
That's
no.
fair.
all right, as a
I've been out.
consummate Final Fantasy fan, when I saw 11, my heart broke.
You know what? I didn't play 11. I played 7, 8, 9.
11 doesn't
10.
count. I've always thought about
10,
it
2.
in like 20 years when my son is like, Dad, what's this Final Fantasy 11? I'm like, there was no Final Fantasy 11.
They'll
You
eventually
can never play it.
They'll just
Not
start
worried
calling
about
10-2 11 officially, just when they
Yeah,
brought
exactly.
the Japanese stuff
Yuri
to the
Pa
US.
for life.
Yeah.
Good idea. I like the dress sphere system. Anyway,
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
I live the dress sphere
the
system.
dress sphere system was awesome. So then,
Gersman's clothes just exploded from
Yeah.
him. He floated in the air nude.
Now I'm a pop star.
And now he's dressed in a sailor suit. It's really hot.
and then I was going to do Infamous, but then it occurred to me that there is a game that will most likely own my soul next year, and it is known by the name StarCraft 2.
Wow,
And-
really nice.
I didn't know you were Korean.
I'm not Korean, dude. And
I just like their barbecue.
They
Their
do have a
barbecue
good
is
barbecue.
shit hot.
That's, yeah.
But
I like
StarCraft,
kimchi. I like kimchi.
StarCraft 2 I'm very impressed by. And it would be Diablo 3, but I don't think Diablo 3 is actually going to
No,
make
it's
next year.
2010.
It's going to be 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you even sure that StarCraft 2 is going to make it?
I am. Actually, I'm really confident from what
How
I've seen.
confident? Because if we're on the year-end wrap-up next year and you're like, I can't wait for StarCraft 2 2011, it's going to be 2010, it's going to be great. I'm like, really? You said that last year, Garnet. Come on.
I was skeptical at first, but having had a chance to play around with it, I think that what they've done is really taken everything that was right about StarCraft, everything that made you really addicted to it, and moved it forward into a new game, but that still has the StarCraft vibe, still has the StarCraft feel.
I think the 3-game thing is.
I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah, I think it could
I'm a
be
little
really
worried about
interesting
that.
depending
It's
on how
suspect.
different they make the second and third game.
I'm skeptical. I think they're just trying to get money.
I am
Very
a little,
suspect, yeah.
I kind of agree with you. That's a good point. I'm a little skeptical of that. I think StarCraft 2 will be amazing. I'm a little worried about how it'll be distributed and whether or not they're really going to ask me to buy 3 full price games.
For me, it depends on. Well, I think they've said they're going to put enough content into the games to make them worth the full price. But to me, it's more a matter of how much time is between them.
True.
Because it's like if they could have those one a year, every November for the next 3 years, we're going to do this, and then we're going to put out Battle Chest the year following that.
But if it turns into a Half-Life scenario?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
dude.
it's
If it
bad
just
news.
becomes like story cliffhangers and whatever crap they're going to do, it's like forget it.
And someone asked on our boards about episode 3. I mean, episode 3. What
You still need to finish episode 2.
Beam in where?
Yeah, maybe you
episode
should
3
try that out.
Well, no,
Darn
actually,
it.
I don't need to finish it because I don't need to finish it until episode 3 is even on the radar.
Well, it's like what they need to come out with another pile of games to collate into some kind of orange box sequel, beige box, blue box,
Beige box, yeah.
yeah,
Blue Box.
blue box.
I just thought, can I announce my
Portal
runner?
2 and Counter Strike 2.
Can I announce my runner-up for most anticipated game in 2009?
Of course.
Fat Princess.
Nice.
Everybody loves that. Well, there's some great games coming out.
There is. Hopefully they come out as when they're supposed to come out. And
The
not
next
delayed
project
at
from
all.
Q Games, the Pixel Junk guys, the next Pixel Junk project is
Pixel Junk
So
Garden.
Dungeons, right? Sounds good to me.
it's going to look fucking hot, and then Flower, and there's PSN.
Flower's like January, man.
Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of stuff, lots of very interesting stuff coming on downloadable games.
Yeah.
All right, anybody have any batshit crazy stuff, or we're just going to leave? Going once.
Well, let's go to
Going twice.
Hello.
That-
I think that counts.
There you
I think
go.
it is.
2008 confirmed. Not just a weekend. 2008 confirmed. So for Jeff,
Are we glad it's over? I am.
2008. It's been a good year.
One hell of a
There's been
year.
a lot of surprising games, a lot of unexpected titles that you wouldn't think would have blown your mind that actually
how about
did.
how about Jeff, you guys launching Giant Bomb. Congratulations on that.
Thanks. Yeah.
High five.
I can't believe that you guys managed to trick kids into doing your fucking work for you, and that is commendable.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's.
I think it's awesome, dude. Your site's up. It looks good. You've put good things together. You've solidified. And we were all worried for you, and it came out the other side.
Yeah, it has been, like I was saying, 2008 was an awesome year, certainly better than 07.
And thanks for coming and interloping on our podcast.
Anytime, dude.
Sure, good year for Giant Bomb. Good for Electric Play.
Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah.
Blah, blah.
Electric Playground, we launched our big site. We got shows every day. It's been amazing. New content every day. Come on. We're giving you all the stuff you want. Right here.
Yes.
On electricplay.com.
Yes, sir.
Powered by Burger King. Powered by Burger King. Let's go to this trailer.
Let's go to the Whopper Cam.
Let's go to
the Flame Broil Cam.
Brought to you by Doritos.
Brought to you by Bird Legend. Jack Black.
Ayo.
It's going to be amazing.
Right, that's it. So how many people... Should I say goodbye for everybody?
Yeah, the cast of thousands that made this possible.
Brad.
We apologize for the inebriation.
Yeah, and I wish Andrew was here.
Have you guys been drinking?
Skip wherever you are.
Something going on?
We love you.
Love you too. Hope you guys have enjoyed a great holiday season. We'll be back in
next
January,
year,
2009. I'm going to CES, so I don't know how the show schedule will work out. We'll do something from there.
I think
we'll have go to Macworld. I mean, that's where it's going down.
We'll have an episode that week. There will be a special episode.
There will be an epic show.
Very special episode.
The
that week.
very special epic show the first week of January,
very special.
2009.
Nice.
So until then, for everybody else here, this is Garnet saying thank you very much for joining us. Until 2009, we are Ghosts.
I'm a psycho of my word.
Awesome.
That was good. Podcast.
Wow, 2 shows in one night.
That's a good fucking time.
Thanks for buying this week's One Up Yours podcast. Oh, wait, that's right. You didn't pay for it because it's free, just like any good online service should be. This is Shane Bettenhausen signing off. PlayStation 3.